Hey, you out there. You want some culturally concise commentary? You want some co-hosts who actually are authentic and real? You can tell that they actually have some type of chemistry going on? You hate clout chasing? That's cool. I actually got something in mind for you. So keep listening. You'll find out.
This is Touchdowns and Tangents, your weekly spot for NFL takes, culturally concise, tangent, and context for the culture. What's up, good people? You gotta put the sound up, Kenny. There you go. One more time. What's up, good people? Live from Honolulu, California. After a week off, this is your spot for NFL takes, topical tangents, concise commentary for the culture. I am PD Camarillo, and he is
Kenneth Frank James Berry.
And of course, we have our amazing producer on the line. What's up, Nikki?
What's up, Patty?
And we're all
Boomer?
here.
Sooner?
Boomer.
Boomer and Howdy.
Wage gap?
And we're all here. A lot of stuff to talk to. We're going to talk a little bit of Rams in a bit. Before we get to that, there's a couple of things we got to talk about in the sports world, so we should just jump right into it.
Yeah, and eventually at some point in the show, we're going to have a special guest come on. And that's going to be fun, too.
Yeah, man. So the first big thing, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, but the Golden Knights closed out the Stanley Cup. I believe the owner called his shot. He was like, yeah, we're going to win a championship by year 6.
Didn't they, win 9-2? Wasn't it like a blowout?
Yeah, it was a blowout. But Florida came back and kept it competitive.
Wasn't it 9-2, though?
Yeah, well, they won, but I'm saying the series.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
they were
yeah.
up 2-0, and the first 2 games were scrapes. So it was looking pretty bad. But eventually, Vegas pulled it out.
Shout out to Liam.
I think they just had their parade, too.
Yeah, they did. It was packed. Yeah. It was huge. Shout out to Liam.
Yeah,
so now the Raiders are on the clock.
I thought about going there. Yeah, the Raiders are definitely on the clock.
Because the
ones who ain't won.
And it has
the A's are coming.
It only took the Golden Knights 6 years to be a force.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, shout out to Liam because oh boy, there's gonna be more Golden Knights fans at Raiders games this year, aren't there?
Yep. I think the crazy thing for me, this whole Conor McGregor situation.
That's just wild and no one's talking about it.
Nikki put the headline as Conor McGregor models citizen activities. First, he was at the finals game doing a mock fight at a halftime show.
Hospitalized the mascot.
Put the mascot in the jail. Then, at the same game, he's accused of sexually assaulting.
Raping a woman in a bathroom.
And meanwhile, he has a pregnant wife.
Due any day now.
And yeah, he didn't register with the anti-doping agency. So, all around, solid dude.
Almost who's worse, him or Tyreek Hill?
The 2-time champ does whatever the fuck he wants.
Shout out to Tory Lanez.
Oh, knock out any fucking mascot.
I would say I think Hill, just because of the child abuse allegations, he would edge him out just slightly.
And we don't even the mom could have done it. He could have done it. One of them did it. Kid had a broken arm. Then he gets into this incident after catching a shark and allegedly hitting one of the employees at the fish place. Now, I will say this. I've gone catfishing when I was younger with my stepdad.
Even though you don't like catfish?
Not anymore. I elevated my pineal gland.
Okay.
Now
I used
to love catfish.
Literally the opposite. But
I used to love catfish, and then I'm like, you know what? This is bottom feeder fish. I'm gonna go to red snapper, and that's really the only fish I eat. But
that's so stupid to me. All fish are swimming in their shit when you really think about it.
I mean, yeah, people who eat lobster, sharks.
And sharks eat all that shit. So either way, you're getting it. It doesn't fucking matter.
I mean, we could say that about chicken. We could say that about everything.
Yeah.
It's all one big contradiction. But mostly, man. So when I went fishing as a kid, I remember a dude almost got into a fight. He caught some big ass fish, and they wouldn't let him take it. Like, no, it's gonna like fuck up the ecosystem if you like take this fish out this pond, out this lake, because it like, yeah, you're gonna take a picture with it. We'll give you like a coupon or some shit, but you can't take this fish. It's weird. Like, you take a picture with them, but then you got to throw them back. Some places do that. So maybe he could have broke a rule where it's like, you can't take that shark. It's against regulations, and he might have got mad about it. You never know. That happens. At least it wasn't like a scene from Cheaters where somebody got stabbed and shit.
Yeah, and other news from the week: the NBA's been heating up. The Warriors, for some reason, traded for Chris Paul.
Hilarious.
Even after Jordan Poole took a punch, he still got shipped out, which is crazy.
Got his mouth wired up. Didn't have to be a good teammate. He pretty much got cucked.
Porzingis got sent to the Celtics, and Marcus Smart got shipped out to the Grizzlies.
How did they get
even though he wanted to stay?
And Porzingis.
And the Clippers were going to get Brogdon initially in the Porzingis trade, but they didn't want to deal with the Celtics situation. So that's how Smart ended up in Tennessee. In Memphis. Tennessee, Memphis. Same shit.
Yeah. From Memphis, you said that.
And yeah, NBA has been crazy. But with that, speaking of crazy, it's been a crazy offseason for our local LA Rams here. So we got a guest, an expert coming through.
Indeed.
Friend of the show.
Go ahead, give him his introduction.
Is he on the line?
Yes, he is. Ryan, you there?
You got
Yo, what up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yes, indeed.
Sir. How you doing, Ryan?
How you doing?
Good, man.
Good. Thanks for hitting me up and inviting me on. Hope you guys doing well.
Always. We're hanging in there doing our best.
I see this man at everything, USC games. Probably gonna see you at Pac-12 Media Day in Vegas.
That's the hope. That's the plan.
Oh boy, the drama from that alone, and I'll be at Mountain West Media Day because they're both Mountain West Media Days, right? Like 2 days before Pac-12, and it's all in Vegas. And with San Diego State doing what they did, it's going to be real interesting. And then Deion Sanders getting surgery, he might not even go to Vegas, so it's going to be a real interesting how all these sports are kind of going to affect Cali and just the LA sports scene in general because it feels kind of crowded. But man, how have you been just this year? Just how's this year been going for you?
It's good, man. Yeah, everything's been good. It's been crazy busy and a lot of fun, but nothing. It's been a good year. So, how about for you guys overall? Business been good.
Yep, we're still around, so can't be that bad. They haven't canceled us yet, so.
Yeah, I feel that. I hear that for sure. So that's good. Glad to hear it.
But yeah, man. So Ryan, you're the CEO, founder of LA Football Network. The networks continue to grow. You got your show now on the Mighty 1090 and Believe Network. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
But yeah, I know you've been real close to the Rams. You've been real close to the Chargers. But for you, from the Rams' point of view, this is I feel like the first season, at least in the McVay area, where we're not expecting a championship. So how does that kind of change how you cover the team, look at the team, etc.?
Yeah, it is weird. It is the first, what is this, year 6 for McVay or 6 or 7, and they're. I mean, we'll talk about this more, but I think they're still going to be competitive, more so than probably other people. But yeah, they're definitely not a Super Bowl contender or a favorite by any means. But I don't think it changes how we cover the team. There's still plenty of stuff to talk about. It's a lot of fun actually with, there are 39 or so rookies on the team. There's a lot of fun storylines there, and who's actually going to start on defense. They have 3 returning starters on defense. and who's going to rush off the edge. Like, we don't know. So I think you still cover them the same and have a lot of fun doing it. The thing about the Rams that is so fun is because there always is so many stories to talk about. And this year's no different. It's just different stories. It's not about the star power. It's about the unknown, if you will. So, it's been a wild offseason for them, as it always is. With our LA teams in general, we're blessed covering, all four of them: Rams, Chargers, Trojans, and Bruins. And it's like, with all four, there's always something going on. You got SC's always in the news for something. The Rams are in the news. The Chargers have been a lot more active than they were, back down in San Diego. And then even in UCLA now with what they're doing in the transfer portal and their recent recruiting. So at least it keeps it interesting. That's for sure.
Man, so if I would have told you last year, like, Jalen's gone, 39 rookies, essentially a new core, new focus, like, one, would you have believed me? And two, like, do you think they're going to stick with that plan, or do you think it's just a matter of time before they're looking to get more star power again?
Yeah, I mean, if you would have told me this time last year, I definitely would not have believed you, because we're coming off the Super Bowl win. It's kind of trying to repeat. But once the injuries piled up and they basically packed it in by week 7 or so, after Stafford went down and Kupp went down and Donald went down, me and my co-host of our show talked a lot about it. And it was like, I could totally see this next year being kind of it's going to go two ways. Either they go all in again and kind of have one more hurrah with this core 6, if you will, that they had at the time, with potentially bringing OBJ back, with Jalen, obviously the big 3 in Stafford, Kupp, and Donald and whatnot, or they're going to kind of tear it down to the studs and prep for, a run in 24 or 25. And so obviously we saw it play out in scenario number 2 and, keeping Kupp, Donald, and Stafford, but really prepping for this next year. Now, I think, if for whatever reason they surprise people and maybe they start off the season, 5-1 or 6-1 or 7-1, then to your second part of your question, like, maybe they do decide, you know what, we feel something special. All we have to do is get to the dance. Once you're in the playoffs, anything can happen. And maybe they do make a run for another premier trade at the deadline or something. But, if they're kind of floating along at 4-3 or 3-4, I think that they'll stick with their plan of this be kind of a competitive rebuild year or a remodel year, I think, as Snead called it. And then 24 being their real, like, okay, now we're back to being the LA Rams that everyone has come to know.
And what do you think's more likely? A Marcus Peters reunion for the cheap, or maybe, Yannick Ngakoue, for some reason teams just don't want him. He's like the Will Smith of pass rushers, the Fresh Prince of pass rushers, I would say. Like, what do you think's more realistic, especially for that defense?
Yeah, well, great nickname, touche.
Thank you.
I would say probably an Ngakoue. I don't personally think either will happen. Obviously, I think it'd be great if either. In the secondary right now, it's so young and youthful that they could use any vet. And I'm not, but I don't see a reunion with Peters and Ngakoue. If the price is right, obviously they really don't have any money. But if literally no one will sign him and he wants to come to LA, why not? So I don't think either. But yeah, if one's more likely than the other, I think Ngakoue would make probably more sense for them and just based on. Seeing the history of how they do things, it's usually not very often where they do a reunion with players. They seem to, once they've moved on from a player, they're moved on, it seems like.
Yeah, Clay Matthews and Todd Gurley would agree.
Yeah.
But I think that opens up, they brought back Sonny Michel. So, I think if you're going to bring back a Sonny Michel, I don't see how you don't go after a Zeke.
It's another, they won't now because they got 4 backs and they drafted one. I wonder if there was phone calls made. Obviously Zeke, he's not going to make what his contract was in Dallas, but I don't think he would have came here for $800,000. So I'm sure that the price tag was too high for them. I'm sure he's still looking for that 6 or 7 million range. And after the Gurley deal, it seems like, and this is my theory, but it's kind of like played out since Gurley, is the Rams basically are going to, at the running back position, just draft, let that contract expire, repeat. They drafted Darrell Henderson and they drafted Cam Akers and they drafted Kyron Williams. Now they drafted Zach Evans, and it's kind of just like take it back every year. When the oldest one's contract expires, then you have the youngest one take their spot in the roster. And so I think they're kind of going with that model ever since I don't want to say overpaying, but unfortunately kind of overextending Gurley at the wrong time, it seems like.
True, because the fact that Dalvin Cook and Zeke are still free agents, that's kind of baffling.
Running back, guys, it's one of those we see this shift in journalism, right? Especially with all the athletic layoffs and ESPN layoffs and journalists out there. And this is more of a joke than me throwing smoke, but journalists out there saying we still mean something. We're still relevant. We still deserve to get paid a lot is basically like running backs in the NFL saying that they deserve the big payday because it's just unfortunately not going to happen.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong at all.
Yeah, running backs are the journalists of the NFL.
Damn.
Right, wrong, or indifferent. That's just the way the market has been, unfortunately.
And there's journalists out here with OnlyFans, so yikes.
Maybe that's running backs the next move for him, I guess.
Yeah. With those workout videos, I'm sure.
Only fitness.
Cooking with Dalvin could be a fun
There
side
you
business
go.
for him,
There
Have
you
his
go.
brother
Pitch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, much of how we kind of talked about the Rams, the expectation shifting. I feel like the narrative on Sean McVay has shifted a little bit. He went from golden boy, couldn't do no wrong, to now there's a little questions can he actually coach? Can he actually develop talent? Has the league figured him out? So for you, when you get out there to practices and training camp and watch him, what are you looking for Sean McVay to show you or prove over this next year?
Yeah, that's a great question, dude. I love Sean McVay. It drives me crazy when I see coaching rankings and how far down people have him and forget what he's done since being here. And everyone always putting Kyle Shanahan over him. That's a whole other debate I could talk about forever. I will never understand that one.
I'm sure Sean could too.
Roddy White, Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, none of them understand it.
Yeah, it's a great point. So, but I think with Sean, it's going to be getting back to kind of what he's been known for, and that's A, being that offensive guru, but B, just loving the game again. And that whole story came out last year about how it was just such a taxing season, and everyone knew, is he going to step away but he even said it was just it wasn't fun for him last year, halfway through the year. And it seemed like, though, at the end of the year, back when expectations were gone, when Baker came to town, it's there's a little of that spark back, having some fun out there. Some of the play calling got a little more innovative again. How many times, guys, do we see in the beginning of last season where it's just Sean, coach, what are you calling here? This is just simple X's and O's, and you're trying to overcomplicate things. And so I think if he just simplifies things, gets back to basics, gets back to having fun, we'll see that success turn around. So just looking for those things. Just how is he enjoying the sidelines? Is he giving his coaching staff enough workload and taking some off his plate? Which now that his wife is pregnant and all that, I think he'll have to learn to better delegate than maybe he has in years past, which I think will be a good thing, because that's why they've hired more coaches. That's why they have, a bunch of former head and associate head coaches on both sides of the football now and stuff like that. And having an OC yet again, which he didn't have the last couple of years. So, or a true OC that maybe he can give some play calling duty to. So we'll see. But I think just him having fun again it's going to be what I'm looking for, because I think that'll translate to success as well.
Yeah, man. You mentioned some of the moments over the offseason, and I'm just thinking back to that viral video with the Dolphins coach, talking to Aaron Donald. When you saw that, did it worry you? Are you worried about Aaron Donald finishing his career with the Rams? Do you care?
I personally am not worried. I could see why people are, and things can happen.
He just didn't shoot it
quickly.
down. That's why I was kind of shocked. He wasn't I'm good, coach, or anything. He was just
just chuckled and crazier things have happened, but I think, what is it? Off the top of your head, what does he have left on his deal? 2 years?
Yes, I think so. Deal? Yeah, I think so. That sounds right.
So the only way I think it happens is if the Rams again are just god awful, and they're 0-7, and then it's okay, this is gonna hurt, but let's trade Donald. Let's see if we can get a first or second round pick, and then obviously the full rebuild is on. I think that's the only. I don't think he'll ask for a trade. I don't think he would go somewhere when his contract's up. I think he's going to play out his deal here. When it's done, he's going to retire and go off into the LA sunset. But I can see why people are concerned, but I'm not too worried about it unless, again, the Rams are just stink this year.
And when it comes to the Rams, when you look at that division, the Seahawks have so much young talent, and honestly, they could still upgrade from Geno Smith to maybe get one of the quarterbacks coming out next year. What's the realistic record for the Rams this year and just going forward in terms of taking the division?
So for this year, I feel, and I might get hate for this or people call me crazy, but I really think this year the floor is kind of like the floor is probably like a 7-10 season. Okay. I think the ceiling is probably like 10-7. And I think with how the NFC is, if you can get that 9-8 year, maybe even an 8-9 year, you could sneak into the playoffs in that final spot. And I really think the Rams can do that because of the state of the division this year. You have obviously the Niners are stacked at every position except the most important position, the quarterback. I mean, is Purdy going to be healthy? Even if he is healthy, is he really all that good? I mean, he could have been one of those surprise, and this is a whole nother story, one of those surprise stories last year that maybe it comes back down to earth next year. I mean, is Lance going to play? Is he anything? Obviously, we know the Cardinals are in full rebuild mode, and the Seahawks, as you mentioned.
I heard a Sam Darnold, Rich Gannon comparison.
Yeah, maybe Darnold. That you never know. And then when you look at the Seahawks, so much talent everywhere, and I love Geno Smith. I love his story. I love that he's been able to have the success that he had last year, but I mean, if we're being completely honest, like it's not like he's a quarterback that you see that scares you based on the trajectory of his career. So the Rams saw the best quarterback in Matthew Stafford. So I truly believe they could go 9-8 or maybe 10-7. And if they do that, then things will get interesting in 24 because obviously they're not going to be in those top 5 picks or so. They'll be kind of middle of the road. And do they trade up for a quarterback? Do they believe Stafford still has, 2 to 3 or 4 really good seasons left, or what do they do? But I think the way this team runs, it's hard for me to say they're ever going to be a bottom dweller. I think they'll always be in the mix for the playoffs. Whether they're Super Bowl contenders, another story, but I think they're at least a competitive mix, especially this year. And with the NFC, I'm sure you guys have talked about it. I mean, you got Jalen Hurts, and in my opinion, after that, it's Matthew Stafford. And so it's not a heavy quarterback conference. And so when you have a top quarterback in the conference, you can surprise some people.
Awesome. All right, Ryan. Well, thank you so much for making the time for us. We know you're super busy, and we greatly appreciate it. You want to just let the people know where they can find you, what you got coming up next, all that good stuff?
Yeah, guys, thanks so much for reaching out and good chatting with you, and I'll look forward to seeing you at play more games. But yeah, our stuff, it's at LAFBnetwork.com. It's the LA Football Network. All of our 10 podcasts are there, all of our editorial content. We got, 7 YouTube channels. All the socials are at LAFB Network. So pretty easy to find. But thanks for having me on. Always enjoyed talking to you, and enjoy the rest of your guys' week.
All right. We'll catch you out there.
Likewise.
All right, fellas. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye. Well, that was Ryan. I just never know how to say his last name. That's why I never say it. I just say Ryan of LAFB, even though there's 2 Ryans at LAFB. Darude? There you go. That sounds right. We'll roll with that. I think it's the yellow one that's the
No, but like that, kind of like banging the gavel.
No, it worked.
It worked.
You didn't have to sell it.
I shouldn't justify like.
Yeah, you didn't need to justify it.
The one
Just
time,
let it breathe.
Yeah,
just let it breathe sometimes.
He wanted to like sound stupid as hell. It's like, wait, you didn't mean to hit that button, did you?
But yeah, man, I just wanted to say I should have said it when he was on the air, but really proud of him and really proud of the LAFB network. I mean, I remember when they started, it was a whole nother name, a whole nother concept, and it's, like he said, 10 podcasts, 7 shows. His show's now syndicated on
Phil
radio,
writes for them too.
So
Phil Robinson,
great stuff for him.
Phil Robinson of the infamous show that
Unfiltered Truth.
Yes, that we have had legendary conversations with on and off the mic. Oh shit!
But yeah, man,
I gotta talk to Phil. I gotta talk to Phil Jones because he's been covering the White House, and a bunch of shit's happened on the White House steps lately.
But yeah, man, shout out to them. Shout out to us, man. We already had a Raiders preview, Chargers preview, Rams preview. Hopefully, we got Seahawks and Niners coming up. So shout out to us too, doing great stuff.
Hell yeah. This makes what, the 7th year of touchdowns and tangents?
That just made
2016?
That didn't make me feel good. That made me feel old.
Yeah, I have a friend who has 3 daughters, and one of his daughters, I'm pretty sure, is like, he had them when we were 18, so I really feel old. Like
So that kid's almost in high school.
I almost shed a fucking tear. I was like, wait, your kid's
almost as old as we were when we met.
Jesus Christ.
All right, moving on. College football.
All right, so there was one thing that was in college football, but I switched it because honestly, it's a fair fadeable. It's just too good. But shout out to Nikki for putting a great rundown together. So San Diego State.
As always.
I should just say this now.
Nikki on the track.
Yeah, shout out to Nikki.
Shout out to Michel.
Hey, don't think I didn't see your fucking Zeke sub divs. We'll talk about that later.
I was howling.
Ooh.
She said, "Ooh." You just got big time on your own podcast.
Whatever.
No, she won that one. It's okay. Regroup next week. But I would just say this. So I got credentialed to cover the Mountain West Media Day and Pac-12 Media Day in Vegas from the 17th to the 22nd. Pac-12 Media Day is on July 21st. Mountain West Media Day is like the 17th and the 18th, so I have the 2 days. But I get a day off in between. So me in Vegas.
What are you gonna ask Andy?
She want me to ask your cousin? Hi. Your cousin Pete Camarillo wanted me to say hello. Also, he said, so what's JL Skinner's Rule 40 time? Nah, I'm gonna have some questions now.
Not for real though. What question?
I can't tell you everything. I can't tell you all. I can't reveal it all right now.
I'm trying to get a PR job. I'll get him prepped. I'll make him some talking points.
I won't ask any Titus Young questions, but I'm gonna ask Austin Pettis one. I'm like, so what is Shea McClellan doing nowadays? But no, see, I'm excited. I'm gonna be covering both of those. It's gonna be a long week. Really gonna be testing myself journalistically because I'm gonna have to rewriting every day for a week. To getting another laptop or like a tablet, just to like write on for when I cover events. Because my other laptop is shit. Really had that laptop since 2014. Damn. But anyway, college football.
I don't think you've had it that long.
Yeah,
you got it like when
I paid my cousin. $300.
You got it when I lived at Ray Vaughn, so it was like
I've had it since 2014.
No, I was like 2015, my guy. 2016, mate.
2016 was my first year at CSUN, right?
No, dude.
It was 2014.
I graduated 2015, bro.
Fuck. So it was 20. I got it.
It was
in
like 2016. You just got it when we started the podcast. Like you literally got it like right when we started the podcast.
Oh, it was when I went back to school?
It was like the second or third episode.
How when I went back to school then?
Yeah, for sure.
The second time.
For sure, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Damn. 2016. I wonder why I can't get rid of that thing. It says sentimental value. So San Diego State, a week ago, informed the Mountain West that they're resigning from the conference. And the Mountain West pretty much said, okay, we see your resignation and we raise you. We ain't fucking accepting it. There's fees and a bunch of other shit we got to work out. You're not just going to leave this conference.
And I feel like
try to get snagged up by the fucking Pac-12.
I feel like when they did that,
the drama in Vegas is going to be beautiful.
I feel like when they did that, it was kind of like a put my dick on the table, but then it's also
we've done enough for your conference, so we're going to leave now.
But not to be misogynistic, it's like your dick's not that big, bro. Like
that's wild. That's a wild clip.
Yeah.
Can you clip that statement for us, Nikki?
Like you realize you probably have to take.
I think you and the word misogynistic have a little bit of catching up to do.
Yeah, I was like, I think you just doubled down.
I mean, I definitely did.
You tripled down.
I definitely did.
Unnecessarily.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Like you hit reverse Like you hit,
just like when someone
you
says,
hit the reverse card.
just like when someone says not to be disrespectful, and then they're disrespectful as fuck.
But not to be disrespectful, but I have to say, they're about to violate your whole fucking bloodline.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what I'm about to say is misogynistic, but I'm not a misogynist.
Oh,
It's
that's
like,
not what I meant by that, but whatever.
It's like I'm cutting your arm off to kill you with it, just to show you how savage.
But what I'm trying to say is, like, yeah, they try to make a power play, but like, you really ain't got that much power, bro. One, like, where are you gonna go? Like, where are you gonna go?
The Pac-12 might pick you up,
Like,
but you're still
where
a
are you
state
gonna
school.
go? And so what? You're gonna have to take Fresno and San Jose with you.
Yep, you have to take Boise with you. Might as well take. See, I swear, if the PC3 becomes a thing, you motherfuckers owe me a check. I've been saying this shit.
Well, it's like
since the inception of this fucking show.
Well, Boise could do their own thing, but it's like you would want them.
They'd have to go Big 12.
You would want them.
They would have to go Big 12.
You would want them competitively.
Yes.
But like
They would end up in the Big
logistically,
12.
you'd have to take those other schools because they're in the same barrel.
I would take the whole Mountain
And then
West.
you would probably have to take Boise just to weigh out the competition of those other teams. So then it's like, so then that's when you get into your PC3 theory.
I would take all those schools and just say, fuck it. Well, we don't have USC and UCLA. We're going to force you all. We're going to force y'all to get better. We're going to beat the shit out of you until, like, if you go 0-10 every year, we're just going to cut you out the league. That means probably UNLV. So, like,
I mean, bro, we've been talking about UNLV.
They're not taking New Mexico
for
State.
Fucking 10 years, bro.
They might take New Mexico State, actually.
I don't know why nobody can figure that program out. Like, I don't get it.
It's Vegas. There's top talent
People
in that state.
just fuck off, I guess.
They're getting 3- and 4-star talent, though.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's like no one.
Doug Brumfield hasn't done much.
Nobody can figure out how to make that team.
If Nevada can,
anything more than just mid.
If Nevada can do what they did with Colin Kaepernick, and they've had other 10-win seasons.
Yeah, they have.
There's no reason why UNLV can't be just as good.
That's true. That's a good point, Kenny.
I got some questions for Mountain West Media Day.
And you probably got to take those two teams, too. Just from a clout standpoint.
I'll take Nevada. We're going to run Vegas. The Pac-12 title game is already in Vegas.
Exactly.
And we're just going to take your fucking school.
Exactly, yeah, fuck it.
And the revenue sharing is going to be beautiful if they're not stupid and selfish about it. Like Stanford can't try to put their
figure out
nuts on
what's
the table.
going on with ASU?
Nah, nothing. They ain't seen shit yet. Deion Sanders is getting emergency surgery.
They're fucking lazy, bro.
ASU is
ASU's lazy.
Like,
you know, they're just
my
like,
coworker said, you just have to have a pulse to get in ASU.
Exactly. You know, they're just like sitting
the
back.
alumni
like,
are dope as fuck.
Let's just let this shit play out, and eventually someone's gonna call us.
We're gonna go with Arizona. Either way, we're gonna end up playing Boise State.
They're like that again. Fuck. Maybe I'm misogynistic because again, I'm gonna make another.
You used to be a feminist.
Again, I'm gonna make
and
another.
Thought you were a feminist.
Another fucking female joke, but it's like they're like that fucking hard 7-8. That's like, yeah, I'm not the baddest person in the room, but like I'm not the worst. So like,
that fat chick who says she can steal your man.
If I just hang out here, like eventually.
No, like the
someone
viral
will call to me.
The viral fat chick who said like people fetishize fat women, which they do. So like she's a baddie and she can steal your man and she makes a fuck ton of money on OnlyFans. And everybody laughs at that clip, but she was dead ass serious when she said it.
Okay, but like that's facts though. Like
she was right when she said it.
Big women are like super fetishized. Like she made money.
Low key though, there's also. I feel like
just look at anime.
I feel like I was born in the wrong time. Like I feel like now there's this whole body positivity wave, and it's like,
no, fat men fat men will always be shamed for being fat.
Nah, I mean yes and no, but I feel like it's getting better.
No, it's not.
I feel like now you can go to fucking places and see big men with their shirt off doing skinny fuckboy activities, and you don't fucking scoff at them.
Fat dudes wearing skinny jeans deserve fucking thyroids.
So Drewski?
Don't get me started on Drewski.
That's what I'm saying.
I purposely don't have Drewski on my timeline. Don't even say that name. You should start showing up. I gotta fucking re-cleanse my timeline again.
You're the one who said fat dudes and skinny jeans. Who else are you talking about?
Bro, it's disgusting. Like, it's disgusting. Like, I don't find it cool to have your drawers hanging out your ass. I don't understand that concept. I'm not a prison bitch, so I wouldn't know.
But I'm just saying, at some point, somebody's going to take ASU just for the money and the clout.
Yeah, and the parties.
Yeah.
Arizona's like, we're the more serious school. No, you're not. Even though they are, which is kind of fucked up. But let's not act like Northern Arizona doesn't party.
Kind of. Not really, though.
It's above it. They will. My friend, one of my coworkers, straight up was like, "No, Arizona's a much harder school to get into than Arizona State," and I stand by that. He stood by that shit.
I mean, yes and no.
We know we trauma bonded.
Yes and no. Yes, it probably is, but also like nobody's trying to go to fucking Tucson, bro. But the cartel's not even trying to go to Tucson, bro.
Willie Tuatamo went there.
I'm just saying.
I don't know why I like Willie Tuatamo.
Nobody's trying to go to Tucson, so that counteracts it. The other thing is, ASU has the largest online school in the world.
And their communications is ridiculous.
Well, obviously,
Walter
it's only
Cronkite.
named fucking Walter Cronkite. And the business school is solid.
I mean, if North Carolina had a Michael Jordan School of Athletics or whatever,
well, then again,
it wouldn't hit the same.
What business school isn't solid? You know, like there's a lot of good business schools out there because usually it only takes like 5 alumni to make it to give you a bunch of money to make your business school look good.
Because business schools are a scam.
Kind of.
Just like majoring, whatchamacallit? Go to school for accounting and stop being a coward.
Well, what the fuck is a business degree?
It
could mean anything.
What the fuck is business management?
A business degree could mean anything.
I know dudes who used to sell crack who could be business management, have better business management skills. They just don't have a degree. Drug dealers are actually amazing entrepreneurs.
Yeah, but entrepreneur is different than business management. Business management is like
you're the fucking
admin
manager.
And fucking accounting,
your middle
and
management,
paperwork, and
no accounting actually serves a purpose. Middle management can be anybody
and shit like that.
Literally, management you can do anything with a business management degree except actually, be a venture capitalist. You actually have to have some type of.
I don't even think you know what a venture capital is.
Yes, I do.
What is it?
Okay, first off, fuck you.
You don't.
Second off, I do. A venture capitalist literally goes out. Let me finish. They literally go out and petition people to give money for certain businesses. Essentially, they tell you why it will be a good idea, why you should invest, how much return you're going to get.
No, that's more of like a financial advisor. A venture capitalist is someone who raises a fund. So yes, they go to people and say, "Hey, give us a shit ton of money so we can create a fund." With that fund, they then pick the companies to invest in to get 100x returns. That's the key with a venture capitalist is it's not a home run business. It's a grand slam business. So they're trying to they're trying to take 100 million from all these various sources
and flip it
and turn it into 10 billion.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like a different sort of skill, different kind of client base than just like a regular financial advisor or a regular even private equity. Private equity is like a whole nother thing, which I'm just learning a lot about. But basically private equity is like it's similar.
Like wills and trusts?
It's similar, but it's more of a loan.
Mm-hmm.
Versus venture capital is more of like a shareholder. Yeah. Like you're owning equity in the company. Private equity is essentially you're giving them money and they either pay you back or you own their company, or they pay you back and you own their company.
That's what this one dude
So that's how you win on both sides. Versus venture capital, they're just trying to get in and get out.
Yeah.
So they're staked in the business versus private equity. They're just kind of like hanging out, helping.
Running my shit.
But either way, they win.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I took a business ethics class one time in college, and boy, it was the worst class of my life. It was we literally had to write like fucking 7 paragraphs on the test, and then
I thought you were going to say Sarah Palin.
I felt like Sarah Palin was teaching the fucking class. The dude went to Georgia Tech. He looked like a reformed hippie.
He didn't go to Vanderbilt.
He said he was a reformed hippie, pretty much. But I'm like, this motherfucker out here making the most simplest of concepts, and somehow I'm like, I don't know. I got a C in the class, and I'm like, I compared answers with another person in the class, and I'm like, your answer was better than mine, dog. Like, I don't know what the fuck this teacher wants. We just looked at each other after the class was over. Like, we passed, but did we? It was weird. Like, that whole class was stupid as fuck. There's no ethics in business, realistically. So the way he was teaching the class, it was like, okay, so why are we here if you just made these bold ass statements the first day of class? Like, why should we keep coming back? But hey, whatever. CSUN was cool for the most part, though. Their business department is fucking solid.
Finish college football.
Yeah. Speaking of, finances and shit. So UConn basketball coach, I think it's Bobby Hurley. He agreed to a 6-year deal worth $31.5 million.
Dude,
Incentives.
I thought that meant that they fucking inked an apparel deal with Hurley.
That's hilarious.
I thought that's what that meant.
One of the Hurley brothers.
Like 6 years, $30 million to wear
cool surf t-shirts.
Hurley jerseys. Like,
sickening.
well, technically, Hurley's owned by Nike, so
it's all money laundering.
It's all the same.
But yeah, so that's a great deal for him. They just won the fucking national championship, and he had 3 dudes who might have got drafted tonight. Somehow, Monty Bates didn't get drafted. I think he did, might have been second round, but that's wild in itself. The fact that the Lakers passed on him was ridiculous because you would want a guy that talented.
Where did Javi go?
He went 18th.
To fuck, that's where the people.
The UCLA.
Yeah,
he went to the Heat.
A lot of people said he was gonna go there.
Good player. Bob Huggins, disgraced basketball coach at West Virginia, resigned after getting a DUI. He's had like 4 DUIs, 3 or 4. And this is after, like, he said some, anti-LGBTQIA plus slurs. And he used the F word that rhymes with maggot.
Sorry, it's Jaime.
Yeah, I was about to say, what'd you call
Said
him?
Javi.
That's racist.
That was kind of racist.
You're racist as fuck. You might as well just call a fucking Salvadorian a Dominican.
Might as well just call you Deshaun.
You might as well call me Latrell.
My bad. Sorry.
Piece of
Jaime
shit.
Jaquez.
You didn't even say it properly. It's disgusting. His sister could hoop too. Yeah. So thus ends. He had a Hall of Fame career and pretty much. It's shout out to Pinty. We had him on the show. He covers West Virginia, and yeah, it's not good. It's that athletic director already is going through it with how the women's coach just left the team, and now this Bob Huggins situation. It's just a bad look for West Virginia athletics right now. They're going through it. Michigan running back Donovan Edwards, who had 991 rush yards last year, including like 216 against Ohio State. He played pretty much most of the year, like 90% of the year, with a torn patella tendon in his knee and a broken hand. So him and Brake Corm were injured. Now they're coming back, hopefully fully healthy. They had one of the best running attacks in the country. Didn't help against TCU, though. And that's it for now. We got another college football coming up. Another college football topic coming up later in the show for Fade or Fair. But that's about it for college football news. Yeah, USC's corner who transferred from Oklahoma transferred from USC. Latrell Bumpkins or some shit like that. Nikki knows who it is.
All right, Nikki, that's your whistle. You're up.
My whistle, what?
You're up.
Are we on touchdown or turnover?
Yes, ma'am.
Alrighty, Ja Morant was officially suspended 25 games for his repeated gun brandishing.
Huh.
Touchdown or turnover?
Who said he was going to get 30 games? Crazy.
Everyone.
No,
everyone.
you were like, no, that's stupid.
25 is excessive.
You were like, no, that's stupid.
I thought it was too
up.
much.
You're like, he should only get like 5 games, 3 games.
10 games. Because
I told
25 is a lot and pretty stupid.
I told you.
It's pretty stupid. I mean, so did Stephen A. Smith.
Honestly, though, bro, I think Marcus Smart fits perfectly with the
He
Grizzlies.
does. Because he's exactly what Dillon Brooks
thought he
Isn't
was.
exactly.
Yeah, and he just has
His
that
green light. I saw a tweet
that
said,
mentality, playing defense. He'll hit some shots. He won't back down, and
He
like
said
he'll fill in for Ja for.
he said his green light is ridiculous. The green light Marcus
I'm
Smart's
legally
gonna have
obligated to disagree with you both.
Why?
because he went to Oklahoma State.
I forgot about that.
What?
Didn't he
No,
go to
I was
Oklahoma?
talking about Oklahoma State. Y'all forget the teams I root for or what?
The Celtics.
Alright.
And he went to Oklahoma State, but he's no longer a Celtic.
Fuck Oklahoma State. That's like his one tarnish on his resume. Not gonna lie.
I've never heard you say one thing about the Celtics.
Oh, okay.
She's literally a Boston sports fan.
No, I mean I know that. I obviously know that. I'm just saying.
she's
I haven't heard you say
she's a
one thing.
nomad at this point.
I watch. I mean, I would. How do I say?
And I thought you were a bigger Thunder fan.
I am a bigger Thunder fan, but
You ain't got a Josh Giddey. Actually, she does. She might have a Josh Giddey jersey. Because that day we
Like-
all had famous Daves, you definitely had a Thunder jersey on.
Like no, it was a Westbrook jersey actually, but
Cool.
I'm more of a Thunder fan, but that doesn't mean I don't watch the Celtics too. I like both teams.
So you
Same thing
don't
with,
like Marcus Smart?
No. Smart. I said I don't like the fact that he went to Oklahoma State. Fuck
Oh,
Oklahoma
yeah.
State. All my homies hate Oklahoma State.
All right, fair enough.
Okay,
Anyway,
KK.
continue on. I'm sorry, I interrupted. Continue.
Honestly, I'd rather just hear your take. That shit was kind of fire. You just keep going. You were cooking. You were
No,
cooking.
I was just here to gaslight y'all and say your opinion was bad. That he's a good fit for the Grizzlies. You know.
All right, next one then.
She was cooking with a proper amount of seasoning. I'll give her that.
All right. The Rams are bringing back Sony Michel. I always
Sony
say
Michel.
You got it?
Rams bring back Sony Michel on a 1-year deal. Touchdown?
I'm going to say it's a touchdown. I was a big Sony Michel fan the first time he was with the Rams, but he was never really healthy, and then when he was healthy, he kind of got passed by. I feel like he brings them both versatility as far as being a pass catcher, blocker, etc., but also could carry the load for a couple games if needed to be. So I feel like it's a perfect fit for them, even though they have forward backs. Akers, we all know they had the fallout last year. He's had injury, so you want to have some sort of insurance policy. But to Kenny's earlier point, I mean, I would have taken other veteran running backs on the market, but that's just me. And they probably wouldn't have been as cheap as Sony
Let me guess.
Michel.
His name is Zeke, and Zeke probably wants $6 million.
I mean, they could have went Zeke. They could have went Cook. They could have went.
I guarantee you, Zeke and Cook won't.
Dalvin Cook is saying he wants to hook up with what's his name?
Miami.
Hopkins.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen.
They're not gonna have money for that.
Yeah,
He'd have to go to like a really bad team to do that.
I mean, I feel like the Titans have money for that. No?
The Titans got money to just piss away.
somebody's jewelry and hair business will be popping if that happened though. Like someone will get bread off that.
I mean,
We'll support the local businesses for sure.
I'm gonna just
That's why
say
I think Hopkins isn't going to go to the Patriots. Because if Cook is involved, like, no way Bill Belichick's going to pay both of them.
he gonna hear Bill O'Brien yelling and be like, "Shut your bitch ass up." That's all it's gonna take. Who the fuck you raising your voice at? You failed offensive coordinator.
All right, next
The
one.
receiver's gonna turn on him, and it's gonna be bad.
I mean, we'll see how he does. He's back home, so hopefully he'll settle back into the system and see what happens. Anywho, the NCAA suspends Memphis head coach Hardaway 3 games for recruiting violations. Dun, dun.
Go ahead, Kenny.
This kind of dates back to when he had Wiseman and they were hitting him with sanctions. They're just mad because he literally, like, Penny Hardaway actually came up through the coaching ranks and was dominant in high school and then took his best player with him to Memphis. And it's just like they pick and choose who they want to put these sanctions on. Kevin Ollie got screwed after he won the NCAA title. Like, they just pick and choose. USC got hit with some sanctions. They really pick and choose who they want to put these sanctions on. And I'm just kind of tired of it. Like, basketball recruiting sanctions are bullshit because the swamp is already fucking disgusting. If you just look at the AAU scene and think about it. LeBron's son isn't even the best player in high school, isn't even the best player in his recruiting class on his team. And more people are going to be excited to see Bronny James at USC games than they are anybody who played in college this year. Wemby didn't even play in college. The year before, last year's draft was definitely ass.
Well, remember that whole tweet where they were saying, like...
Nobody's going to college anymore.
Where they were saying college athletes are staying too long and it's a crisis and they can't afford it?
For women's college players, for sure. Because you're going to make more money in college than you will in the WNBA. Just become a model and play basketball. Because the league is such a failure in itself that all these first-round picks are getting cut. Like, you were the 4th overall pick and you're getting cut in your rookie year. That's fucking wild. No other sport does that happen.
All right.
I think with the resurgence of, like, with LSU and those girls and stuff, this, like, random little spike of interest in women's college basketball may do the WNBA some good.
But that's the thing. They're not going to be able to keep all those players. Like, some of those chicks are going to get cut.
We've talked about it before.
Top 10 picks.
We've talked about it before. The WNBA always
fault.
has these little moments of interest. The issue is not that. The issue is that women don't care for women's sports.
And I've always preferred women's college basketball over men's college basketball because they actually have better fundamentals. And if you see a genuine
players are actually playing,
and if you see an upset in women's college basketball, that's a fucking upset because UConn was winning for like 20 straight years. So when you see like UConn and Paige Buchers and them, they're getting clapped up by other schools, like that's legit. And that's like, there's way more parity in women's college basketball. And if it's on, I'll watch it. Won't watch like SEC basketball. I'll watch the conference tournaments. I'll watch if it's on ESPN, but I won't watch every college basketball game. But I will watch college basketball more so than I will watch the WNBA because there's a bunch of talented ass hoopers who aren't playing.
All right,
I got their jersey. Now they fucking go overseas because the team cut them.
I was so ready to defend my girls there, but then I realized that I
you don't watch them either.
I don't watch women's sports for shit, bro. Like I watch women's tennis sometimes.
Watch women's tennis.
I'm gonna try to get into women's golf too.
I can't watch tennis, honestly.
So you're gonna watch the two sports that are women are actually rich.
That's fair. That's real white. That's some elitist white shit. That's some pearl clutching shit. I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm all like, how do I say? So like with the NFL, like that. So football is like the sport that I most associate, like I'm most acclimated with. I watch like NBA casually. I watch college basketball casually. And so it's like, if I'm just a casual fan of the NBA already, it's not like I'm going to go out of my way to watch the WNBA. And like for golf, I actually like watch golf. Like I'm one of those people who actually spends time out of their day to watch golf. So I might as well cross the bridge and, be a feminist or whatever and watch the girlies do it too.
Get some great seats for $20.
I never asked you this, but do you watch a lot of track and field?
Right?
Yeah, my mom loves that shit.
I watch in the Olympics, for example, it's like my favorite event to watch. I watch high level stuff. Like I don't just turn on college track and field, boys or girls. Like I don't know. But if it's like a championship or something like high level like that, then I'll usually tune in.
Yeah, I love watching the college championships, especially when they do it at Oregon, because those stories are the best ones. Outdoor track, I can't watch indoor track. That's boring. I'm sorry. And also watch my mom got like a love for the NFL because she watched track so much. And then every time we sit down and watch the combine, she just makes fun of everybody's running technique. It's classic. That's why she taught me how to run. She's like, you're fat and slow, but you ain't going to be fat, slow, and uncoordinated. I was like, thanks, Mom.
Incredibly based. All right, anywho, let's see. The NFLPA commits $500,000 to pain management.
Yeah, so basically the NFLPA Players Association donated $500,000 to pain management, research, etc. But yeah, man, I think that's a touchdown. Obviously, I mean, it's not a lot of money considering what the NFL players make, but hey, somebody has to protect their own, and we know the league's not going to do it. We know the players won't do it, so that's what a union's for.
The only comment I have is no comment, and also, if you were going to help aid in pain management, I'm pretty sure you would just ban Toradol, but that's a whole nother issue. That's across sports.
Isn't it Toradol? Isn't it banned?
The NFL players be talking about taking Toradol. I don't know if it's banned now, but
I think it's banned now.
But they talked about those shots a lot.
That's one. Speaking of Toradol.
Bear with me on this pronunciation, but Bill Romanowski owes $15 million in taxes. Yikes.
Come on, man. It's not like we threw Yannick and Ngakwe on there. Like,
couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Fuck Bill Romanowski.
You could you could stumble your way through Romanowski.
Okay, like what do you want? I'm not European, bro. That sounds super European.
I mean, just think of Boston.
German, isn't it?
Romanowski.
Or
is it Romanian?
What is that? No, I know what it is. I'm just trying to remember.
Polish.
That's what it is.
Yeah, Polish. There you go. I don't know. It's all white to me.
It literally is white.
White is white.
unless you're like
you're on dark mode.
Unless you're a little bit black.
It's after 6 and it's dark mode. Otherwise, white is white.
Unless you're Albanian, unless you're
albino,
then use a nigga.
But yeah, man. Like Kenny said, couldn't have happened to a nicer person. I wonder what he spent that $50 million on.
Steroids
and Viagra
and beta blockers and heart pills because of steroids,
cowboy collars,
and
he probably tried to write off his cowboy collars, and that's what it was.
Some Balco cream, some Balco muscle relaxers. I hope
he made money off the books too.
I hope they spit on his.
Did he write a book about steroids and shit?
I hope they. Yeah, I read it in middle school. It was at at the Hardaway library. I hope they spit on the fucking tax letter, and we open it up. It was just spit all inside the letter. Fuck that guy. I'm not that Raiders tight end. This motherfucker would get stabbed in the throat. I got punched in the face, but he's bleeding from his jugular. Who really won?
You were saying, Nikki?
Fuck Bill Romanowski.
So clearly I'm ignorant, but I don't know who this guy is. Like, why do we hate him? Like, why?
Okay, he was a dirty player for the Raiders and the Broncos.
Mainly the Broncos. He only played for the Raiders for like 2 years.
Okay, and then also he spit in J.J. Stokes' face.
Oh.
And he knocked out a tight end. He broke his jaw.
He actually had a really good speed rating on Madden. It was like 87. I think it was Roland Martin or something like that. Roland Williams or something like that. Yeah, he was a tight end, and he waited till like a bitch. He ripped his helmet off and broke his jaw, and the dude never was able to play again.
Oh my god! His face?
Yep, you can watch the video. He spit in his face. I'm like, you spit in my face, I'm punching your children in the face.
So this was like 20 years ago when this guy played?
This was like in the 90s, early 2000s.
20 years, yeah, pretty much.
Okay,
pretty much early.
I might not have been born.
Yeah, 20 years ago he was washed, but still in the league.
Yeah, and on steroids. Think Lala Zado, but not better. You don't know who that is either, but it's a Football Life episode. You can go watch it.
No, I think I've heard of him.
I'm sure Bill Romanowski has a Football Life too.
I'm pretty sure he does. I've probably seen a rerun, but fuck Bill Romanowski. Fuck that guy.
He looks like the buff.
On that light note.
He looks like the ex-bodybuilder Botox having version of Colin Cowherd.
He was in the Longest Yard remake.
Imagine Colin Cowherd if he got a lot of bad Botox and steroids.
He just looks like a villain.
Yeah, definitely.
He has the haircut for a villain. He looks like a military jarhead who probably raped his female commanding officer. He just looks like every fucking. He looks like
that was a lot.
He looks like every fucking
I'm
villain.
the misogynist. That was a lot.
Oddly specific.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Look at that dude and tell me, like, yeah, he's never like disrespected a woman publicly.
I think he disrespected a reporter one time too. I think that was another thing. A woman reporter.
He's done a lot of fuck shit. He was on the show Best Damn Sports Show period. He was on the top 10 of most hated athletes, and all the journalists and people who were talking about him talking mad shit about this dude.
Oh wait, I know who this guy is. I just looked him up. I've seen this guy before.
He's a piece of shit.
All right, take your tangent, Nick.
The reason why I hate the number 53.
Isn't he like an announcer now or something?
Radio
right?
talking voice.
Yeah,
I've seen this guy on TV.
He might have been a Copper Fit commercial or something like that.
No.
Wrangler jeans.
No, because the dude who created that is a black guy.
So far was on there.
All right. On that note, take our tangent. Michael Jordan is selling the Hornets after 13 years of ownership.
I'm kind of torn on this. I think it's good for him. He essentially 10x'd his money.
20.
However, it's bad for the league because now they don't have any majority black owners. And I think he's like the only one in all of professional sports. The only one. So
J. Cole owns part of the Hornets.
With him being gone, it's like, yeah, good for you. I get it. You're 60 years old. You got a younger wife. You got shit going on. You made your money.
Tired of watching these losers play for you.
And you're obviously not a good owner. Like, you haven't
terrible GM.
Built a good culture. You don't really have a great team. There's not a lot of assets. Like, you don't have a lot of things going for you. So I get it.
You drafted. You took Marvin Williams,
and you did what you were supposed to do. You brought them back to Charlotte. You know, you brought the All-Star game there. You brought them a star. Like, you did what you had to do. You got your money. You checked the box, especially when the NBA needed it.
And they got $1.73 billion.
They needed that team. They needed a team to stick there in Charlotte with how big college basketball is there.
$1.73 billion.
They needed basketball to sit there, and he was the one who helped that work. Like, without that team would probably be in Vegas or probably be under a different name, different ownership, Seattle, San Diego, something like that. So he did what he had to do. It just sucks for everyone else because, like you said, there's no other black owners. So
I mean, he was really a lame duck owner to begin with. That's all it was. There's a reason why no other NBA players managed to own a team. They only let Jordan do it. And for that matter, that's a great, hell of a return on your investment. $180 million, and he got $1.73 billion back. Yeah, that's a peaceful transition of ownership. And yeah, they got a star player, and maybe he needs to medal out of it because if you remember when Michael Jordan drafted everybody off that fucking North Carolina championship team, that was wild. He drafted Sean May. I think he drafted Marvin Williams. Not Marvin Williams. He drafted a bunch of people off that North Carolina team that won the title, and that shit was hilarious. When they took Sean May, he took Sean May in the first round, I think. Like, bro, are you on drugs? Yeah, he's had a lot of horrible picks, and there's been a lot of stories about how bad and how, like, pig-headed he's been. But, you know, hey, good for him. He got his $1.7 billion. You know, Scotty is out here fucked up, got to give half his whole ass piece of shit of a wife half all his money.
She was on KTLA this week, and I turned the channel.
I'm gonna just say this: I don't condone
the channel.
I don't condone murdering your spouse, but I understand why. I understand.
Says the dude with no spouse.
I'm just saying, Scotty. You get on the phone with OJ, I understand.
All right, next.
Man, Larsa Pippen is the devil.
Anywho,
incarnate.
Jack Jones was arrested at Boston Airport after guns were found in his luggage, but he pled not guilty to 9 different gun charges.
I'm going to defer my time to you, Nikki.
Me too.
Free my man. He didn't do nothing. I don't know what to say, but it's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. It's embarrassing. Like I feel like you could look at a 5-year-old kid and they would know not to bring a gun into an airport. I just, it's unfortunate that this is going to be the end. Just such an on-brand way for us to lose yet another Jones. I just can't even believe how ridiculously, hilariously stupid he is.
He fought so hard to get to the NFL and then shot himself in the foot metaphorically.
I know, I agree.
He got the robbery thing at USC. He gets expelled there. Goes to a junior college. Antonio Pierce sticks his neck out for him. He ends up at Arizona State. Then leaves Arizona State early. Doesn't go to any of the bowl games or anything. Runs a bad 40. Somehow still gets drafted by the Patriots. Actually had a pretty decent rookie year. And then does that dumb shit. Just made himself more expendable.
It doesn't surprise me that, we all know that Bill Belichick is a diamond in the rough kind of coach in the first place. So that doesn't surprise me that he was picked up. But it is unfortunate to see after everything, just clawed and climbed so hard to get here and threw it all away in one afternoon. Because I feel like no one's going to want him back. Because he was already iffy anyway, and I don't know. It's definitely just unfortunate. That's all I have to say about it.
Yeah.
Can he still be sneaking his Costco-sized lotion on the airplane? Can he still be on my house looking ashy as fuck?
Okay, first off,
like Katie.
Fuck you, first off. I scratched my leg, and I didn't put on enough lotion.
Yeah,
today.
both of them. The knees, all around the calf.
Hey, fuck you, bro. Yeah. All right? I didn't even go in on your bad, horrible fucking military-grade haircut right now.
All right, I'm not going to say anything. All right, next one.
The Pittsburgh Pirates bus driver was arrested for DUI while in the middle of driving the team.
That's just crazy. That reminds me of Ted Lasso when the bus driver on there, when they're like, "Are you on drugs right now?" And he's like,
It's just so based.
But yeah, man, that's crazy. I feel bad for that dude because he's probably cooked now. Like, you're a driver and you got a DUI, so you're for sure going to get a suspended license. Probably going to lose your commercial license for a little bit. Like,
unhireable by the MLB now.
Wonder what he was going through that he felt like he had to do that.
Why the fuck am I a Pittsburgh Pirates fan?
Bus driver.
What if he was a fan of the team too?
My man, he didn't do nothing.
All right, next.
It's just such a stupid way to go out, bro. Same thing with Jack Jones. It's just like the same energy. Like, are y'all for real? But anywho, let's see. 3-time 6-man winner Lou Williams is retiring after 17 seasons in the league.
He's like the all-time points leader for a bench player. He scored more points than anybody for like a lifetime bench player. Atlanta Strip Club
Lemon
Hall
Pepper.
of Famer. Lemon Pepper Lou. Atlanta Strip Club legend. Got to give him like rafters draped in gold and glitter.
I don't even think he played last year.
He didn't. And the crazy thing is, he can still hoop.
Yeah, but his thing was he was never a point guard or a shooting guard and he couldn't play defense.
He was just, I'm going to come off and give you 20 points, okay?
I still take Jamal over him, though.
Of course. And Jamal is what, 40-something?
Yep.
I forget how old Jamal Crawford is.
He came in high school.
I forget how long he's been in the NBA.
Well, he hasn't played in a couple of years, but...
And I still want him. Shit, he be dropping 70 at programs and shit. I remember Chet Holmgren was like, talking about how he's going to be one of the best players in the NBA. And I'm like, okay, Chet.
Next.
Brittle bone, motherfucker. Nobody from Gonzaga's even fucking proven they're worth the pick.
Zach Collins is coming around a little bit.
Yeah.
Next.
Jalen Suggs, too.
We did touch on this one a little bit, but Tyreek Hill is under investigation. Again, shock Pikachu face. For assault and battery after boarding a boat without permission and then hitting an employee after the employee tried to do his job and get him off the boat.
I hate to be that guy, but like, come on, like, it felt like just kind of a matter of time.
He was overdue for a fuck up.
Yeah, he was kind of overdue for a fuck up.
I mean,
He's been there for years.
He got away with beating his pregnant girlfriend, being responsible for his son having a broken arm. Like, it was going too good for him. He fucked it up. I mean, you look at Kansas City, the fact that managed to work out, it's like, okay, bro, you're running out of karma. You're running out of good karma, I guess. Because he was just like, he was like, oh, he felt like he fought a shark. Well, no, you fought a human being. You tried to catch a shark.
Well, I think that he's going to get a pass this time because I believe the employee has said that he is not going to be pressing charges. I'm guessing he's a Dolphins fan.
Or he started it.
Well, yeah, that.
Or he started
either
it.
way, you want to be the boat attendant that doesn't get fucking tipped because you got Tyreek Hill suspended for 4 games or 8 games?
Doesn't get tipped. Oh, you mean by other people?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't the employee's identity currently anonymous?
I mean, I'm just guessing. Whatever he does on that boat, like,
I mean, he probably gonna hit
I'm pretty sure you don't want to be that guy that fucking sued Tyreek Hill. Like, dog, you got slept and you're ostracized in your whole community now because you fucked up the one time we actually can be excited about the Fins.
Unless he started the fight.
I mean, if Mac Jones punched
I mean, that's true though, but still, even
call the police.
even those
nobody
guys,
afraid of Mac Jones.
There's plenty of people we know who started the fight and will still fuck around and sue, or fuck around and press charges. So I don't think that really impacts it.
highly doubt the employee started anything. The employee was probably just doing his job.
You never know.
So, I mean,
people from Florida are
It's still
crazy.
Florida, man.
People from Florida are crazy.
okay.
They're on find out. They're on find out even when you didn't even fuck around. They're just on find out time.
From Go Grill to
We're talking about
Go
Florida
Jackie.
Man crazy and then Tyreek Hill crazy. Like, I'm gonna have to give this one to Tyreek. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
And he's built like a running back now.
I wasn't there, but I highly doubt that the employee just felt like starting shit with a freaking guy that looks like Tyreek Hill.
She thought that boy should get in line. It is Florida, man.
Wow, I can't believe you just said that.
He didn't care about the strength difference because he was just on PCP or something.
So
Or he just thought he was just some fucking punk, strong black dude and just wanted to fucking.
Wow, some punk strong black dude?
I'm just saying. Like,
I'm just saying,
If
you
you
managed to
think
piss
that
off
some
women
punk
and be
strong black
racist this
dude-
episode.
I'm
First
not,
you said
I'm
Jaime
not saying
wrong.
that. I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying like even.
No,
if
I'm
you
just
didn't know it was
trolling. I'm
Tyreek
just
Hill,
trolling.
Like Tyreek Hill is an intimidating looking dude. Like dude's strong. Like dude's
No, he's
built.
not. No, he's not.
But he's not
Nobody
that tall.
5'9" is ever intimidated.
But he's not that tall.
If Mike Tyson was 5'9", I wouldn't be intimidated.
I mean,
And you got to
Okay.
remember, it's Miami, so there's a lot of fucking buff people walking around in leisure wear with chains who you don't know what the fuck they do.
Yeah.
So
Everybody got grills,
on
too.
On a boat, probably not. Like he was probably just in a polo.
Yo, you know how many influencers live in fucking Miami? You don't
A
know
lot.
what the fuck they do, and they're just walking around Balenciaga and fucking big ass
Not the
chains.
people working on the boats.
Hey,
That's
man,
that's like
No, but I'm
you'd be
saying
surprised.
he could have been rubbed
I
the
used to
wrong
work on
way. He could have
boats.
been
I
having a
used to do
bad
that.
day. He could have been. There could be 1,000 reasons why he wanted to fucking try Tyreek Hill.
He probably touched him instead of saying, "Hey, you can't be on this boat." And Drew Rosenhaus was like, "It's cool, bro."
This poor guy got slighted by Tyreek Hill and then didn't press charges because he doesn't want to be whatever. And then here we are, victim blaming some random guy.
I mean, we haven't even got to the submarine people yet, so
I don't know. I feel like with his track record, it's safe to say that Hill probably provoked the fuck out of him.
he'll
at the
do
very
something
least.
stupid. That's one
But
thing I
he'll
guarantee.
definitely get a pass for this one. Like this, it's going to be probably the next one that pushes him out of the league, not this one.
I don't know about that one.
I think he'll get a pass.
We shall see.
I mean, he got a pass for like some comparatively very much worse stuff. I don't know. So,
That was before he was Tyreek Hill, though. That was when he was like coming into the league and a return specialist.
He broke his kid's arm and then had a camp like 2 months later that was never canceled.
Yeah, but he wasn't an all-pro receiver.
He was camp level cool. He was cool enough to have a camp.
I mean, all these dudes get camps. That's all set up once they get to the league. Camps are surprisingly not that easy. They're not that hard to get. You just put the money up.
It's right off.
Yeah. Have kids show up.
I don't know. We'll see.
You're going to take their money, so it's like, yeah. Like, it's camps. Like, they're all pretty much write-offs. But, yeah, he wasn't Tyreek Hill, one of the best pure receivers in the league. He was Tyreek Hill, the return specialist. So, yeah, that's a different time. Andy Reid gave him the stamp of approval. Now he's kind of on his own.
Next one.
Yeah. Anywho, J.J. Watt might be getting a TV deal.
So my fucking take on this is, like, is J.J. Watt's body so deteriorated that he can't do anything else semi-athletic like we position him as? Like, because we've been talking about, like, this next phase of J.J. Watt for, like, a solid, like, 5 to 7 years. It's like, bro, you couldn't, like,
you had this much of a take on it.
You tried out for WWE and didn't make it. Like, the movie studios weren't fucking with you.
He can't take those bumps.
Like, you can't be a coach. You can't be a, like, nutritionist. I don't know. Like, bro, there's so many things you got to do. Like, we got to stop just thinking everyone who knows football and is an athlete can be good in a commentary or analyst role. Like, even Shannon Sharp, like, look how long it took for him to ascend and to actually be good at what he does. It took him like a solid 20 years.
10. He was on NBC.
Bro, he was on those
ABC for a while. No,
yeah, he was no good. Nobody cared.
That's because he still had to go get a speech coach.
But that's what I'm saying. He eventually fell into being Skip's counterpart. But that wasn't even like a natural thing. Like, he was just filling in, and the next thing you know, he was there. But, like, no one was checking for Shannon Sharp like that. Even when he was at CBS. Even when he was on HBO, like, he was just there.
To bring up the point that Ryan made earlier, that journalists are the running backs of media. Where does a retired journalist go once they're done?
Death, casket, public relations if they're that lucky to get out before then. But
I was going to say they go to a profession that actually makes money.
Maybe.
So, I mean, you got to look at it like that. Like, a retired player and a retired journalist are kind of one and the same. What do you do with your life now?
Kind of, but not
and
really.
I'm not saying Al Michaels or, somebody that level type journalist. No, I could just mean somebody who's been covering the South Bay for 40 years. Larry Altman, who he's still very active. Shout out to Larry Altman, CSUN alum, great human being.
Yeah, no, I think it's totally different because you're talking about.
And they don't make him. He don't make millions of dollars a year.
I know. Well, besides that, even if he did, it would still be totally different because you could be in journalism for 30 or 40 years without completely destroying your body. These guys are done before 35, 40. They still have a whole nother life in front of them. That's what I'm saying. Instead of just being like, oh, well, this seems like where the money is and the easiest path to getting money. I don't know, maybe take a year off and actually figure out what you want to work towards and enjoy and figure it out. Like, you don't have to jump right back into something just because you're bored and you're trying to fill time. Like, if that's the case, then just go be a coach.
He just physically can't do it anymore.
He's a workaholic.
He doesn't have the shoulders of a 75-year-old man.
He's also a workaholic.
But that's what I'm saying.
People like that,
you can put that towards coaching. Then, if that's the case, and become a coach.
He just had a baby. Like,
maybe he doesn't want to stand out in the sun all day. Like, I don't know. Maybe he's just done with the physical aspect of it.
But that's what I'm saying. So what are you doing it for? You're doing it to get famous. And if you're doing it to get famous, we've been talking about this J.J. Watt personality. larger than life
This
for
John
5
Cena
to 7
personality?
years. Exactly.
And even John Cena
So you
actually
couldn't even
showed he has dimensions.
you couldn't
and
even
layers.
parlay that into a fucking freebie show. You couldn't get a JJ Watt fucking builds cars and
Who
eats
really-
protein shakes and fucking Houston show. Like, come on, bro.
Who really is
Like
checking for
all the
JJ Watt?
content out there in the world. Like,
Who's checking for JJ Watt?
yeah, now, but 5 years ago, JJ Watt was someone
Nah.
you would check for.
Nah, he
Dude.
had that Captain America
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
shine
And
to
you
him.
were calling him
And nobody
Captain
likes
America.
Captain America. Scott Summers fucking hates Captain America
I never called him Captain America once in my life. You called him that.
because he is. I got more in common with Scott Summers and the X-Men than I do the Avengers.
I mean, I don't know. JJ Watt was one of the most popular defensive players of my generation.
That's what I'm
So-
saying.
On
So
some of the worst teams.
why can't you do something else? Like, I just don't get it.
I mean, why couldn't Michael Jordan not buy bootcut jeans?
When Hurricane Harvey hit Houston, that's when he like elevated.
Yeah,
In my
it's fair. But even then, like that's just his good deeds. On when you watched Hard Knocks, it's like, bro, why is JJ Watt being a tryhard, doing all this unnecessary
I
work?
really personally never extremely cared for him, but ever since Harvey, you can't really say that without getting chastised.
Did you
especially
watch Hard Knocks though? People were
No, I
like,
didn't.
JJ Watt comes off corny as fuck in this.
And I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I just never liked his personality on the field. But again, living in Texas after Harvey, if I were to say that out loud, like I would get like burned at the stake. So
I believe you. The same with, it happens. I believe it, but it's just like people.
I'm just saying. My point is, if
People
I
only know they know pieces of JJ Watt, but I don't really think we know the full story. And I don't know if getting it a broadcast is the way to tell that story.
exactly, and that's what
Maybe
I'm
do
saying.
a podcast. Maybe I don't know.
Do a D-line
IG
podcast. Well, Vaughn already did that, so never mind.
Yeah. Show up on I Am Athlete.
Yeah, like
Be a guest on I Am Athlete. Not I Am Athlete. Fuck that.
do a white
Go
football
on the
player.
pivot. Go on the pivot.
Do a white football player podcast. Oh wait, Pat McAfee already did
Yeah,
that.
he has that,
My
that,
bad.
that market corner.
My bad.
Just be a guest on the pivot, bro. Just go on the pivot. We'll listen to you. We'll hear you out. They had Travis Rudolph on right after he beat the murder case, which is wild.
I just, as his agent, I would just be looking into other things first, or giving him enough time off to like really figure out if broadcast is really the thing I want to.
Try to be
Exhaust my
try to be a
resources.
guest on whatever Peyton Manning's doing.
Sure.
Try to be a guest on when they do Monday Night Football, and come on, ask what the fuck Tom Brady's doing. Ask what Julian Edelman's doing.
All right, next. Shit. To Nikki's point, run for fucking Texas governor. I'm sure he'll win.
He's from Wisconsin, though. You should run for Wisconsin governor. Wisconsin has some really fucked up laws. Wisconsin got some fucked up laws, bruh. You might
No,
want
he'd
to.
be a better governor than fucking Greg Abbott.
Jesus
that's for
Christ.
sure.
Imagine in 10 years we look back and this motherfucker is really in politics.
And he cites his podcast. And
That would be like when you called the Jalen Ramsey shit. Like, I just yelled out some shit and it actually happened. Like, hey, God, you are listening.
God was like, "Fuck, this nigga read my DMs."
The God script makers were like, hey, that's actually a good idea. Let's write that.
Hey, you know what,
I feel like
Kenny?
athletes
We're not gonna give you
getting
credit for that.
politics is dangerous, though. Like any athlete getting into politics, no matter what side of the aisle they're on, is just dangerous because you're like heavily risking your reputation forever.
It
You know
worked
what I
out
mean?
for Alex. Not Alex. It worked out for Anthony
Herschel
Gonzalez,
Walker?
the former Ohio State receiver.
I'm not sure who you're talking about. Like Herschel
So
Walker is
he-
a great example.
Oh God,
Like
let's not talk about Herschel Walker.
Walker's
Yeah,
legacy
nah.
is forever tainted.
Yeah, nah.
Herschel Walker makes my brain matter hurt.
Yeah, nah.
But now Anthony Gonzalez fought for athletes' rights and NIL, and he's like a fucking senator. He's like a high-ranking governmental official. Anthony Gonzalez, who was a first-round pick out of Ohio State. Check him out. We've talked about him on the show before. He's done a lot of good. So I mean, like, there's some guys, like I think the former Seattle Seahawks receiving great Steve Largent, he went into politics. So there's some people who've had,
There's actually a good amount.
a really good amount that have actually been good.
I mean,
the fucking
even
worst example.
Even your regular fucking mayor and senator,
Kevin Johnson in basketball.
There's a lot of people that have
Mayor of Sacramento.
Played college sports or played at a high level or played overseas, and maybe they didn't go pro and they weren't household names, but they grew up around people that did. I feel like there's a lot of transferable skills. I think the thing that scares me more is the fact that they're so easily accessible. Like the money, like everyone wants to touch them, everyone wants to be around them, and that
everybody wants to use them, and manipulate them.
Plus the government influence, like that to me is what's more scary.
It can almost like
Herschel Walker
is
a perfect example of that. To your point, Nikki, but yeah.
Alrighty.
Last
one for this. We have so Aaron Rodgers went to like a psychedelic conference and went off on a tangent about how ayahuasca and like astrology and other psychedelics and like star mapping unlocked a whole new world for him, and like it quieted the dark voice in the back of his mind and stuff.
I'll believe it when he calls his parents. How about that?
Hey, like, how's Danica Patrick doing? How's
but in all
your ex-girlfriends doing?
Like, I can't, like, I go to a lot of conferences, and I know there's conferences.
Clout chased ayahuasca.
And there's conferences for everything, but I just can't imagine, like, all these, like, hippie people just getting in a room and, like, just chilling and vibing, like, somewhere in fucking Vegas or New York, like a hotel, just like, oh, yeah, psychedelic conference. Like, that's wild to me to just think about that even happening, first off. Second of all, where the fuck is Aaron Rodgers going to be in 8 weeks or 2 months? Because right now we're getting the happy newlywed Aaron Rodgers where he's like going on everything, going everywhere, being seen, happy at minicamp, training camp. But let them fuck around and, I don't know, lose to the Patriots. I don't know.
Lose to the Dolphins.
Well, Dolphins could happen, but yeah.
No, but like for a stupid
reason. By the Dolphins. Lose both games to the Dolphins.
Lose to the Bills in overtime.
Like, lose both games to the Bills. Like, how is Aaron Rodgers going to feel then?
I think he can't freeze out Garrett Wilson. You got to throw to your best players.
So, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. That's more of what I'm looking for as far as Aaron Rodgers. Is like, where's he going to be at when this honeymoon phase is over? When he takes that first sack, when someone drops that first ball, when the defense gives up a Hail Mary, to Kenny's point, like, where is he going to be?
Because Chuck Clark tore his ACL, and they signed a familiar person to play safety.
Are you going to be the fucking 40-year-old veteran championship-winning quarterback that steadies the ship, or are you going to start turning your focus outward? That's what I want to know. Fuck the drugs. Fair or fade? First up, we talked about it a few weeks ago. Stephon Diggs showed up to training camp after he missed like the first couple of days of mini camp. The Bills receiver is reportedly unhappy with his role in the offense and lack of voice in play calling. So, Kenny, fair or fade? Diggs is...
This shit is a fade and it's stupid and it makes no sense. Bro, look at his stats since he's gotten to Buffalo. He gets all the targets and all the yards. And yeah, you don't get all the touchdowns, but there's a reason for that too. You're mad at how other people are not getting the ball. That's one thing. If you're mad that Josh Allen runs the ball too much, that's another thing. But as far as your yardage and what you're getting, there's really not much more they can keep force feeding you the ball, but like you're a wide receiver, do your fucking job. The running backs don't be like, hey, I want more fucking touches instead of you throwing screen passes or only looking to Diggs. Or like, hey, I want they do what Warwick Dunn did when Michael Vick was running all the time.
I think it's fair though, and here's why.
Is it?
What has been Diggs' number 2 receiver?
Gabe Davis,
Gabe Davis just came on.
He had 4 touchdowns in one game.
You average as much yard per catch as Dalton Schultz.
It's not Dalton Schultz. It's I forget his name.
All the Buffalo tight ends. All they ever do is run fucking 6-yard outs or run into the flats. Like,
true.
Have you ever seen a Bills tight end do anything else besides that?
That is true.
Like,
not wrong.
So I get it. Like, I feel like Buffalo, that offense has been just getting by for a while. Yeah. Like, they're good enough where you can't just scoff at them, but they're not elite to where they can go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs.
It's predicated around Josh Allen making a play.
Exactly. And
you're saying, fuck it, someone's down there.
Exactly. And when you look at the way the AFC is shaping up, like,
that's not going to win anything.
Because what? We know Kansas City's offense is better. Cincinnati's offense is better. And the Jets might be better. The Dolphins are probably going to be better. Who else? I said the Bengals. Chargers.
Steelers.
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far.
Maybe.
I wouldn't go that far.
They might get a win.
I would put Cleveland above them.
I would
put Cleveland.
I would too. I would actually put the Steelers last in their own division, but
I mean,
I would definitely put the Steelers last in the AFC North.
They're pretty much
by a wide margin.
And the Bills' running back situation has been a hodgepodge. They're basically Baltimore with Stephon Diggs.
They're Baltimore with a less athletic quarterback.
And a better number one receiver.
And a slightly better offensive line. And a much better defense.
So, yeah. I get
situational defense.
I get where the gripes are, but also it's like,
what more do you want, bro? Like, if if the defense didn't give up that touchdown to Tyreek Hill, y'all would have won the game.
I feel like Diggs is just.
But also, Diggs is traumatized from like traumatic wins and breathtaking losses. Because remember, the Minnesota game, and then when they played bad the next game. Everybody forgets that. They only remember that game, but they played bad.
Well, because your boy, Nicky Coleman, held the fuck out of
Nickel Roby Coleman?
Yep. Held the fuck out of them in that game.
But, like, that whole team shit the bed. And then he comes to Buffalo, and he's like, fuck, we're losing again, but just at a higher level. Especially when he sat there and watched the AFC title game celebration. That's the level of mass.
Well, this time it's not like you can just blame it on Kirk. It's like somebody on our team keeps choking. Yeah, something's in the water.
Something keeps happening. Our safety.
Bro, you're in Buffalo. You're in the choke capital of the fucking football universe.
I mean, honestly, besides Superhead, who chokes harder with more viscosity?
I would say ask Jay-Z or Michael Strahan, but yeah.
Wow. The Cole Murphy joke?
I'm just saying, you're the one who brought up Superhead.
I mean, the Cole Murphy joke. You wouldn't have been wrong either way.
Next up, fair or fade. Nick Saban talks about the lack of parity in college football, as well as how bad the college football playoff selection process is, even though he benefits from both. Fair or fade?
Just like a privileged white man. It's such a fucking... It's a fade because it's like, shut the fuck up, Nick Saban. How many of your players go to the league with injury fucking red flags because you, like...
run them into the ground.
Jamar Gibbs said it. They try to kill us at Alabama. Here, we actually get a break. It's a relief. And y'all beat Kansas State. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Skeetily D. Y'all wasn't going to beat Georgia.
Bro said Skeetily D.
You know how long I've been saying that shit? I've been waiting to break that out.
So I'm conflicted.
I say this as a kid all the time.
I'm conflicted with this. Right?
I wasn't done. Hold on. And it's a bigger fade because it's like, bro, you just mad because now you got to play Texas and Oklahoma, and you almost lost to Texas. An unranked Texas.
He actually said that the addition of Oklahoma and Texas will help the parity. So
he's saying that now, but when they fucking storm the field on him in Tuscaloosa or in Norman or in Austin, it's going to be a different tune.
Hey, don't roll Oklahoma in with that. We don't storm the field ever.
Y'all never stormed the field?
You would if you beat Alabama.
You're talking about the Sugar Bowl, which did happen the last time we played Alabama. We won with our backup QB in. No one stormed the field. But it was a
bowl
good game.
games don't count. I'm talking about like in Norman. So you're telling me if I go back through the history, I won't find any storming of the field in Oklahoma? Is that what you're telling me?
Ever?
In the past 20 years of my life, and I'm 31.
You just find their running backs storming on their girlfriends.
I'll stop at Adrian Peterson. I'll stop at AP. Does that make you feel better? I only go from Adrian Peterson to right now. You telling me I won't find no storm fielding? Is that what you're saying, Miss Nikki?
In close games against opponents that are equal to us, but you have to realize
Get the sound of that moonwalking?
Oklahoma has been consistently ranked in the top 10 for like the last decade. It's not like Oklahoma is.
You sound like Southern Nick Saban.
UCLA. Like it's not like this like sort of kind of good-ish team. Like top 10 consistently for the past like decade. Like we are the Alabama of a lot of teams. I get you have some disdain for Oklahoma for no reason.
I didn't have to do that. That was just funny.
You realize Oklahoma's been in the college football playoffs like 3 times in the past like 6 years, right?
Let her cook. She put too much seasoning in the pot, but let her cook. Turn the eye down. The water's boiling over on the stove.
Are we just gonna move past the fact?
No, we're not moving past this. You almost burnt the grits on the stove.
Like 3 times in the past like 6 years.
Hold on.
Didn't you just hear what he just said? The whole selection process is fucked. It doesn't really even matter.
You're just playing more games.
So you're agreeing with Nick Saban?
No. Because Nick Saban is playing both sides of the issue like he always does. That's why this is a fade. Because he's literally going to turn heel. He's going to turn babyface. He's going to turn into a heely little bitch once he loses. And he'd be like, see, we already have a tough enough schedule as is.
All right, can I talk now? Can I talk now?
Oklahoma didn't do anything.
Can I talk now?
Nick Saban capping. I don't fall for it. He playing both sides of the fence like he always does.
Yes, and I agree with everything that you guys have both said.
Except what Nikki said.
Well, yeah, not the Oklahoma shit.
Oklahoma into it for no reason. Oklahoma didn't do anything. They're just sitting on the side.
Yeah, they don't do anything but lose fucking bad in bowl games.
Oh, you don't go like on them too. They didn't do
Florida.
Fucking clap, bro.
Florida. Tim Tebow, Percy Harvin. Do you remember the Florida-Oklahoma game? Boise State, Oklahoma?
Bro, win some championships, bro. Like, what do y'all? What's the
Did you say win some championships to a USC fan? Oh, did you remember USC, Oklahoma? You remember? Watch that game. It happened. I saw 55-19 cheat clappage. It happened.
Yeah. Well,
They can't beat Kansas State. How about that? Oklahoma can't beat Kansas State. Let's talk about that. Past 5 years.
Past what?
They have not been able to beat Kansas State like 4 out of the last 6 years.
3 out of the last 5 years we've beat Kansas State, and one of the 2 losses came from a 6-6 Oklahoma, I think, at the time that got their entire.
No.
How many NFL players has Oklahoma had?
Kansas State kept Lincoln Riley out the playoffs. Don't forget that. Kansas State kept Lincoln Riley out the playoffs.
How are you going to talk about our loss to Kansas State when you're a USC fan and you know the reason that we were so mid last year?
No. Like, Kansas State has beaten Oklahoma like a lot.
Oklahoma's been mid for a minute.
Yes, like literally midder than fucking Kawhi Leonard's knee 85 games.
All I'm saying is this whole 10-year timeline you were talking about, Texas has been fucking ass. So you also have to add that into the context.
Texas has been so ass.
Ain't nobody talking about Texas. I'm just saying.
I mean, but that's important. Like, that's your fucking rival. That's the best team in your conference.
About OU football, like, we were what, six?
Ooh, she just backhanded you. She said, "I know about Oklahoma football. You don't." I don't take offense to that because I don't know. Kenny's over here.
She was talking to you. She wasn't talking to me.
You.
No, she was talking to you directly.
She was talking to you.
I know my OU
history. I was talking to
history.
you, Pete, because you said that Oklahoma was mid prior to Lincoln Riley leaving.
They've been mid. Look at their NFL. Look at their NFL
You
track
can't be
record.
mid and be in the
Look at
playoff.
their NFL track record.
I have to agree with her. You can't be mid and be in the playoff picture every year, even if you get your ass whooped in the bowl game.
Even if you get your ass whipped in the bowl game, and even though the college football playoff is bullshit, And even though they don't put players in the league like that,
It's an SEC.
Why do they put players in the league like that?
They put
You mean
hella players in the league.
The last 5 #1 overall picks that were Oklahoma quarterbacks?
Yeah, Oklahoma. This is a bad. You're losing, Pete. You're losing right now.
okay.
This was a bad beat for you. You should have just stuck to the
Okay,
Texas
so
line
how
there.
many of them are Pro Bowlers?
Hollywood Brown.
You just excuse
Orlando
me.
Brown.
Hollywood Brown is a Pro Bowler?
He was at one point.
Did you
Alternate.
just say
Yeah.
from not putting guys in the NFL to move to
I just
Pro
told you
Bowl?
Orlando Brown.
Second round pick.
He's outplayed his draft status.
The entire Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning Super Bowl champions, I think 4 out of 5 of their starting O-line came from Oklahoma.
Creed Humphreys was like All American. Raiders passed on him too.
All right. I'll stand corrected. Fine. You happy?
You were winning the argument.
Oklahoma puts out great fucking NFL talent.
Not like Texas.
Yeah.
Texas don't put out shit.
They put out great fucking NFL talent, bro.
Yeah.
You were winning, but then you diverted from the point, and she got you. If you go back to the point that I was on, that like Oklahoma, it's just going to be mid in the SEC.
Anyway,
they're going to get clapped by Kentucky.
Nick Saban, Nick Saban can eat a shit sandwich. He sounds so stupid.
Yeah, she's playing both sides.
Anyways, the whole thing I was gonna say
He's
about
hedging
this
his
whole
bet.
situation is this. Like, it's like we've talked about it before with like fucking historical people, but it's like you either fucking live to be a sellout or you live to change your mind, but like either way you lose. So even if this was sincere, like it wouldn't matter because Nick Saban's already benefited so much from it that it's like, bro, you can't go back and give back all your fucking college football bursts and national championship rings.
Or the Hellcats that recruits were getting, or the fact that a lot of your players end up being busts.
And with that,
Jonah Williams is not a franchise tackle.
And with that, at the same time, if he's not going to change it, who would? And that's when you get into the whole fucking
USC.
President Johnson signing the fucking civil rights agreement.
Well, what the fuck? Where are you going with this? I don't know where you're going with this, and I normally know where I'm going with some random shit. This is random.
But that's what I'm saying is like the fucking Texas tie-in, like that whole shit that happened with JFK. Like,
are you?
It was all a thing of.
Okay, hold on, because I think I know where you're going with this. So let me try to see if I know where you're going with
Let
this.
me finish. You haven't let me fucking talk. What I'm saying is, like, that's a historical moment that people look at as, like, oh, it's this great thing that happened, and it was, but it's like...
It turned out not to be.
It's a fucking thing of circumstances.
Because Lyndon B. Johnson also said...
He didn't do that. He didn't do that because he wanted to.
He was a racist piece of shit.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying.
I'll have these niggers voting for me
and that's
for the
why,
next 200... I'll have them voting Democrat for the next 200 years. Okay, I'll let you cook.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying with Saban is like, yeah, you could say that now and you could change it and people would be like, yeah, Saban fucking benefited, but he also changed it. So it's like...
You caused it. You're the booster gold of college football coaches.
Do not give.
It's like getting out. It's like getting out at the perfect time.
So he Pete Carrolled it.
Basically.
He Goodfellas did.
Because he knows the time is up. And it's like, what else is he going to say? What else is he going to say?
Lucas did from American Gangster. He got out and then snitched on everybody.
What else is he going to say?
So he's historically paying both sides of the fence to make himself look better.
Yeah.
Which is why Nick Saban's on bullshit. Which is why he has to win the title this year.
Next one. Speaking of fucking coaches playing both sides. Les Miles is now ineligible for the Hall of Fame due to 37 of his LSU wins being vacated for sanctions. Yeah. OBJ was also suspended 2 years for giving out money at a national title game. So fair or fade?
Fair. This is so fair. And I speak on...
OBJ got suspended 2 years?
That was bullshit. But I mean, he gave out money on the sideline after LSU fucking won.
No, that happened today? Like he's suspended from the league for 2 years?
No, he's suspended from going to LSU for 2 years.
Oh.
Banned from campus and all that shit. So he went from 145 wins to 107. So you have to have a winning percentage of at least 600, and now he doesn't anymore. Les Miles. So After all the shit he did at Kansas, which was a failure, after fucking all his female interns and coworkers who were college students, putting them in danger. So then playing with fire because, if you're going to fuck the head coach, you kind of have to know you're not really a victim anymore, especially if you're getting benefits. You're playing a dangerous game. But neither here nor there, you're still fucking the head coach who has no business fucking his subordinates. It's abuse of power, and, you can't really convict me of a crime while a crime is being committed. Unless, if you rob me and I shoot you, can you really say, oh, you murdered somebody I murdered somebody during a robbery in self-defense. But anyway, when it comes to this, after all the nasty shit he's done to females and recruits and former players and just foul scumbag shit that Les Miles has done, the fact that he's now ineligible to get put in the College Football Hall of Fame is really just desserts, chef's kiss. Fuck Les Miles too.
All right.
Also, put Mike Leach in the Hall of Fame and Texas Tech, pay him all his fucking money back that you owe him.
On the same note, the MLB commissioner, Manfred, said she regrets granting the Astros immunity. Said, quote, "It's not my best decision."
No shit, Robert. Hey, maybe I shouldn't okay cheating by a team that already was moved to the fucking AL because they got their ass kicked in every year in the NL and they couldn't win in the NL. So we moved them to the AL, gave them fucking number one pick after number one pick after number one pick and all these great prospects, then let them fucking cheat, get to multiple World Series. We don't punish them. Dodgers fans are over here traumatized as fuck, crying in their Dodger dogs and their garlic fries, which, by the way, the garlic shouldn't be all the way at the bottom of the cup for the hats. I hate when they do that. Put the garlic on top of the garlic fries, not all at the bottom, because by the time I get through the fries, there's no more garlic left. What the fuck am I going to do with just a hat full of garlic? But anyway, yeah, it's bullshit. And as an Angels fan, I'm just mad and righteously indignant just for the sake of it, because I probably know that the MLB would never do that for the Angels. But they let the Red Sox cheat. They let the Astros cheat. But, God forbid the Angels can, move Ohtani, or they can make Oakland fucking do right by their baseball team, or the baseball team do right by the city of Oakland, So, yeah, Rob Manfred, way to fucking go. And, Barry Bonds is the Hall of Famer.
All right. I think there's one more.
There is.
Reggie Bush might leave Fox after beefing with them over money.
He's definitely leaving. He signed a 1-year deal to stay on kickoff, the noon kickoff, and he wanted more money last year. He's 38. That'd be stupid as fuck for Fox to lose Reggie Bush, because you know how many USC games the Pac-12 has? When Marquise Steph, who's no longer on the Trojans, gave Reggie Bush that hug, and then they threw a flag, and the ref pushed him away. And that was on TV in the Coliseum, bro. I'm tired of people doing Reggie Bush dirty as fuck. Pay the man his money. Trust me, he's people get more from watching Reggie Bush than they do Urban Meyer. They might replace him with Mark Ingram, by the way.
All right.
Who the fuck wants to see that?
That's funny though. That's funny though.
Fucked up.
That's funny. That's just funny though.
That's fucked up though. You went to Bama with a bunch of first round picks. You really had it rough in college. Oh wait, no, you were on a loaded ass.
But he also kind of took his spot in New Orleans. That's why it's funny.
He did. That's why it's funny. He's all-time leading rusher in Saints history. It's oh wait, they didn't use you the way they used Reggie. If they used Reggie the way they used Mark Ingram, he probably would have had 10,000 yards rushing.
Yeah, maybe if Reggie actually hit the fucking hole.
Reggie did hit the fucking hole.
Yeah, after he fucking bounced it back
he rushed for 200 yards and had multiple 1,000-yard seasons in Miami. Shut the fuck up. He had 1,000 yards in Miami and rushed for 200 yards against the Raiders.
And they found some dude with better hair in the 4th round, and yeah.
That's not. You talking about Jay Yahi?
I'm talking about Alvin Kamara.
I mean, Alvin Kamara's never had 1,000 yards rushing in the season.
Oh, now we care about
never.
that. Now we care about
multiple
that.
1,000-yard rushing seasons. Reggie fucking Bush.
That. Now we care about that. But last year, Kenny's narrative was Alvin Kamara was better than Zeke, but now he's never had 1,000 yards.
Oh, in what capacity?
Yeah. You see what happens when we turn your heroes against your heroes? Damn, that's wild. Shit's
First
crazy.
off, I never thought.
Shit's crazy. Yes,
I never thought
did.
Kamara was.
Yes, you fucking did. That's why you're smiling.
I don't believe I did. I don't believe I said that. You're gonna have to prove that I said that. And if I said it, I apologize.
I probably meant it at the time.
I probably meant it. My fantasy team meant it when that motherfucker scored 7 touchdowns on me, and I was gonna win my first fantasy championship, and motherfucker scored 7 touchdowns. And was about to score 8 or 9 if Taysom Hill didn't show up. Yeah, I was really mad that fucking day. But I got my fantasy championship anyway, so I'm not even really tripping. I'm good now. I'm not the Buffalo Bills.
All right, Nikki, you want to start with your rant?
I don't really have much to say, to be honest. Yeah. Don't try me with Oklahoma football shit, because I'd be on that shit. It's one thing that I can confidently say that I know stuff about. So
okay,
yeah, Pete.
Okay.
And Kenny,
you don't want to go there.
Yeah,
this is a master class you're not ready for.
I'm about to kill you in the water right now, Nikki. Don't worry.
No, it's NCAA football I played in my life.
Don't worry. I got you. Don't worry.
I'm gonna sit this one out.
Kenny. All right, go ahead. Thought you were done.
Sorry. I was kind of confused on what y'all were saying a second ago, referring to JFK and LBJ and like what the reference was. But LBJ like should not ever get any credit for the Civil Rights Act in a million trillion years.
That's what we're saying, though.
Yeah,
we're saying that even though he did it, it's not. It was just something he had to do.
It was an about face, but the way Pete presented it made no fucking sense.
Like JFK did it. Like JFK constructed that. Like that was JFK.
Yeah, but it's his name on it.
But then he got his head blown off, and LBJ was like, "Ooh,
I'll take the credit."
This thing that like JFK completely constructed and illustrated himself and pushed for and got tons of like how do you say
Clout.
Racial drawback due to it.
Yes, we know.
I've
read 7 JFK books and watched every show on the fucking world.
He's a Marilyn Monroe fan.
So are you on the vibe like about JFK then?
He was comparing Nick Saban.
I'm comparing Saban to
Lyndon B. Johnson.
Wait,
is that he's a phony who's taking credit?
JFK documentaries.
Yes, he has.
So, what do you think? Like,
about?
I don't think you want to have him go in on. This is for another episode. This is a studio episode.
I'm huge into the JFK whole conspiracy thing. Like, I'm super tinfoil hat on that whole thing. So.
Skullgate, the third shooter.
I don't know, man.
I could go off about that. What do you mean you don't know? You read 7 books and you just don't know?
Yeah,
he doesn't want to publicly say it. He's afraid.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a lot of shit.
They got his house bugged. Bro. They got his house bugged.
There's a lot of shit there. There's a lot of moving parts.
This is a we eat this over chicken flautas type conversation.
All right, can you just finish? Because I'm trying to fucking dead you on Oklahoma. So,
but also he pretty much Pete was comparing Lyndon Baines Johnson and Nick Saban that he's actually a fucking phony who was really just playing both sides for his own long-term benefit. It's just the way he introduced it had all of us confused.
Right. All right. Anyway, yeah, I don't really have much to say. I had a good week and stuff. Just doing more wedding planning and whatnot. I'm about to start my as soon as we move into my new apartment, I'm gonna start the a job search for the upcoming cycle. Hopefully I get some type of like football-esque adjacent something.
Quit USC?
No. Like I'm talking about like via like LinkedIn. Like I'm gonna start looking for like some type of
they got
related
USC
something.
has stuff. You should probably link up with their football person.
Well, the thing is about USC is like the branch that I'm on is not media related. Like we work with the media, but like we're not media. Like we're just like
I'll give you her number.
Kind of.
I'll give you her number off air. You should like go talk to her.
I might have an easier transition since I already like work closely with the Coliseum in the team, but
do it.
I mean, I would jump at the opportunity, of course, but
we're gonna have a talk about this.
We'll talk off air because I literally like have the football person.
Because this is what you do, Nick. You don't fucking talk yourself out of something. Like,
yes,
manifest. Just fucking own it.
Like the reporter from Texas.
You've done fucking
A&M.
Great stuff with us. You've done great stuff in your life. You've grown a lot in the past year. Like,
you've reported.
Just fucking own it. Unlike
some people we know, you've actually reported when invited to events.
You're not in Oklahoma anymore. You don't get any credits for being nice and humble. You're in Los Angeles.
Don't downplay yourself.
The city of fucking weirdos and
cloud chasers.
Yep. Hey, the Southern hospitality will always be there, no matter how long I live with 11 million degenerates.
But talk your shit though. Like, talk your shit. You're here for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, fingers crossed. But no, I'm really excited to see if I can attain climb up an extra rung before the football season starts. We'll see. Fingers crossed. So I will keep anyone who is interested updated on that. And I'm just about to begin. So fingers crossed.
Kenny?
Okay, you want to go last? Got you. So apparently, Swerve is pregnant?
I think so. I saw her baby daddy post a pic and be like, I did cropped her. Wow. And he tagged her. So
okay, because if she's not, and it's like somebody else, that'd be
yeah.
I feel hella bad.
She was tagged in it.
Congrats. Did you see the picture? Like,
I didn't see the full picture.
Pregnant.
Nah, it looks like her IG's deactivated or something. Try to look for her.
Shit. Well, congrats to Serve, I guess. Hope she's doing well. Yeah. So excited about the Mountain West and Pac-12 stuff coming up in July. Pretty much deciding on if I'm going to get a tablet or just like a brand new, like small little laptop that I just use to type up and work at for events.
Don't do that. Just get a fucking tablet. If you're going to go cheap,
that's what I'm honestly leaning towards is like a really good tablet where I just need to type and have Wi-Fi and buy a little keyboard with it. Because I feel like that's all I really need. Yeah.
You need a computer, but if you're not trying to spend $1,000,
I'm really not.
Get a tablet. But you're gonna need to spend $1,000 on the computer.
Yeah, I know. I've looked at everything.
You need to prepare yourself for that.
Top of the line.
Even it doesn't.
My laptop right now isn't
not
that
going to be the top of the line. $1,000 is going to be the middle line.
Yeah,
but you can probably get something that will slip through the cracks in like the $600 to $800.
It'll last me like 3-4 years.
Yeah, you can find something solid for $600 to $800.
Yeah,
you can find something good for $1,000. You can find something great for $1,500.
I can still type and shit on my laptop, my old one, but that shit's old. I really would only use it just to write notes. Like it's so fucking slow, it's bad, and I gotta like cancel my McAfee shit because it's on auto pay, and it's been utterly useless. I don't know why I even bought that shit. But yeah. Other than that, it's been a pretty good week. Sugar is low. It's getting down and pretty much into the 80s. Like almost every day, my shit is like either 80 or like low 90s. So as far as diabetes watch goes, that's pretty good. I eventually got to get some more blood work done, but I just really don't feel like. It's like when your doctor gives you like a number to call to get blood work done, and then they're booked up for like 2 and 3 and 4 fucking weeks. It's like, why did you give me this number? Why don't you just let me go to a free clinic? Like, why is this now a fucking 6-week excursion just to get my blood drawn when you can draw my blood here while I'm at the fucking doctor? You know, where you have your nurses draw people's blood. But whatever. Shit is stupid. The only reason why he's still my doctor's because he gives me a shit ton of refills on all my medication. So, say this, though, on the subway thing, and I'm gonna wrap this up with Taxstone. If you're stupid enough to spend that much money to go deep into the ocean to see how something died, and you really didn't think about how you would come back up, that's the Darwinism Awards. You won them, and that was God's will. I know I would spend $250,000 on way more stupider shit, and no one would go home dead. Also, Taxstone got 35 years for the whole shooting at fucking Plaza, him and Troy Ave beefing. I'm gonna just say this: New York podcasting is very toxic, and New York podcasters, East Coast podcasters, I've just noticed over the past 10 years are very fucking clout chasing, toxic, and nasty. And I don't trust none of those motherfuckers. Joe Budden, Matt Hoffa, none of them. Like on the West Coast, even with bum ass no jumper and Adam 22, like AD could have had that shit shut down. Trust me. There's enough gang members up there. They could have that shit shut down whenever they want. And also podcasts in LA, like they're not trying to always fuck you over. And there's not like disrespectful shading of people like that in the industry. You got independent entrepreneurs, people doing whatever. And people know there's a respect line and that you're probably only 40 minutes away from somebody who will come kill your ass if you play those disrespectful games. So honestly, this Taxstone getting 35 years and fucking up his life because he's an idiot. Could have just stayed your ass in the house, but you wanted to antagonize somebody, and then when you finally ran into him, well, they let you know that they hated you and y'all tried to kill each other. Even if you tried to defend yourself, you knew you shouldn't have had a gun in New York. And that's just how it goes. I'm not crying, no tears. But this just shows how fucking trashy and toxic all these New York podcasters are. And I'm tired of them moving to LA and like their bosses in these fucking studios that they're renting out. Like, go back to New York and be miserable, bro. Don't come to LA and fuck up our vibes. Because y'all cutthroats.
All right, Kenny. Real quick before you drop the mic. Here, you can just use mine. How many players are on a NFL or on a college roster?
How many players on a college roster? Anywhere from 75 to like 90 if you include walk-ons.
So, if I were to tell you that about 8% of those players go to the NFL every year, would you say that's a high number?
It's kind of that's per average. I mean, off one team, that's kind of a high number.
Okay, but it's not an extraordinary number is what I'm saying.
No, it's not.
Fair enough. Now, what if I told you, Kenny, in the past decade, more than half of the time, said team has not had a first-round pick? Would you say that's great?
It depends on their winning percentage. But yeah, if they have like a really high winning percentage and nobody's going to the NFL, that's kind of bad.
So now, let me add in this wrinkle. So not only has said team not had a first-round pick in 6 out of the last 10 years, but 4 of those first-round picks are flat-out busts. And if you go back to 2012, there's been 3 quarterbacks drafted number 1 out of that school. And what? Kyler Murray's your saving grace? Kyler Murray's your best number 1 quarterback? Almost a bust. Almost a bust. Kyler Murray is your shining gem. But wait, there's more. There's a lot of other first-round busts in that Oklahoma lineage, including guys we root for, including Kenneth Murray, including Hollywood, I'm hurt every other game, Brown. Lane, I might play this week, Johnson.
Bro, what are you
think
say
he's.
that
I don't think he's a
Oklahoma doesn't
bust.
get draft
He's
picks?
not a bust.
Lane
but he's been
Johnson's not a
hurt.
bust. Some people might even call him a borderline Hall of Fame right
Bro,
tackle.
are you trying to say that Oklahoma doesn't get draft picks?
I'm just saying, you said they had this extraordinary draft track record, and when I went and did the research,
Okay, so to that point, Oklahoma has the 4th most drafted people in the NFL of any school of all time. They're beat
okay,
by Ohio
cool.
State,
So we're going
they're
all the
beat
way
by
back
Ohio
to
State,
fucking
they're beat by Ohio
1940.
State, Notre Dame, and USC. Notre Dame
Great.
is the most.
Great.
Points
So
are being made.
So only
Out of the last 6 years, three of the first overall picks have been from Oklahoma, and even Jalen Hurts, who fell down in the draft. Now, you
He.
could say we can't claim him, whatever.
You can claim him. He
graduated
has a
from Oklahoma.
master's degree.
He was a Heisman. He was a Heisman finalist.
yeah, but you're also overlooking
years
all
old,
the
Oklahoma.
other second round picks that are no longer in the league, third round
fell
picks that
down.
aren't in the
He fell
league,
down.
fourth round picks. That
Caleb
aren't in the
Williams
league.
technically went to
Jalen Hurts in that.
Oklahoma.
So in quote unquote, if you want to go by quote unquote recent memory, which is clearly what you're doing, since apparently the 4th most draft picks. of all
I'm just
time is a
going.
very cool-
I'm just going the past 10 years because you said that they've had an extraordinary record over that time.
Okay, I just want to clarify.
Yeah.
So, are we judging based off success in the NFL or just being drafted? Because those are two different conversations.
Both. I think the both.
All right.
Okay, so
I'd say both.
So in the NFL playoffs this last year in 2023, Oklahoma, the college, had the most active players in the playoffs and in the conference title games.
Yeah, you're counting a lot of people that are just on rosters.
And people
Right.
have been in the
I'm
league for
talking
like 10
about
years.
playoff teams.
Trent
I'm
Williams.
You're talking about-
conference title
You're,
teams.
you're talking about players that aren't even contributing.
The number one team, the most heavily slanted team for one college in the entire NFL is the Kansas City Chiefs, and it belongs to the Oklahoma Sooners. I don't know what argument you're trying to make right now, but I don't feel like you're doing a very good job.
Yeah, and yeah, okay,
They're
that's
the
one
defending
example.
Super Bowl champions, the defending Super Bowl champions, have the highest rate of one single school in the entire NFL, and it's Oklahoma.
And
The
they've
Eagles might have
drafted
them.
how many
The
of those
Eagles might have
players?
them now.
How many of those
The
players did they draft?
Oh, that's a good point. Because if they're free agents,
They drafted one,
What are you? They're on the team, though.
but they've only drafted one.
Talking
But
about
that's not their
success in
original
the
team.
NFL,
That's
right?
not. They didn't develop them. They didn't discover them.
No, but you just said, what about, okay, but they're benched. Okay, but that's not good. Like, what?
But
they
you're
might not be
you're painting this narrative that the Chiefs are poaching Oklahoma Sooners and parlaying them into a championship, and that's not the case.
Yeah, exactly.
They've only drafted one.
Nikki, we gonna get you a job working with Oklahoma football.
I'm
You gonna
I'm
get that
sorry.
PR Oklahoma job.
So the most active NFL players belonging to one college in the playoffs was OU. The defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, have the most slanted for any college.
I heard you the first time. I'm telling you, they've only drafted
OU
one.
is the 4th most.
They only drafted
drafted
Creed
college
Humphrey,
of all
and they just
time.
drafted one this year.
4th most drafted college of all time.
What team is Orlando Brown on again? Did he get traded?
He's currently on the Cardinals.
And
Orlando Brown got traded to the Cardinals?
and even your stat of like, for most drafted players, let's see. One of those teams is in the same boat as you, Notre Dame. The other one just got relevant again and was not relevant for a decade. So yeah, again,
I know.
that stat doesn't really mean anything either.
Yeah, but what's your point? Who cares that?
My point is Oklahoma's mid.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that you bit off more than you can chew, bro.
Well, I'm being dead ass serious, Nikki. You haven't had a first round pick in 6 of the last 10 years.
Y'all both have been cooking each other. This kind of feels like a stalemate.
And you have a lot
So
of busts.
I guess first overall.
You have a
is-
lot of busts, not just in the first round. But yeah, you have a lot in the first round.
Okay.
And you have even more in the second and the third and the fourth round and the fifth round.
You realize that, like,
Orlando Brown plays for the Cincinnati Bengals.
making a 52-man roster. Like, what are you saying?
Oh, here we go now. All right. Everybody's against the wall now. Now she's going to this. Just making a 52-man roster.
You're doing the exact same thing Pete was doing earlier. You were winning the argument, and then you made a wrong turn.
No, I'm saying, like, what are you saying that there's like that they have, like, statistically speaking, they have a lot of busts? Like, where are you getting that? Like, will you just feel that, or like, are you reading something?
I'm looking at all the players they've drafted in the last 10 years, and more than half of them are busts.
I think I'm confused. I'm pretty sure one of them is like the highest paid quarterback in the league right now. Or no, wait, no.
Okay, that's your highest shining stone, a guy who's probably going to get traded next year.
First overall, I think. And then Baker Mayfield, I think, was a first overall.
A bust.
Yeah,
I disagree.
Huge bust.
But,
Huge bust.
I disagree.
Mega ultra bust.
Wait, he's definitely kind of a bust. He's not with his original team. He's on
He's
his
been on
team.
3 teams in the last 2 years.
The Panthers.
I was very critical of Baker Mayfield in college. Like,
No one was more critical of Baker Mayfield than
He
me.
literally was. Kenny actually became a believer for like year 3 and 4.
I was an extreme.
Stomped that man's back end.
I was an extreme critic of Baker Mayfield in college. So I'm not just sitting here and like dick riding the guy, but I think that he is the most over criticized person in the NFL.
Nobody's criticizing him now. Nobody's even
He's missing wide open receivers on air. It's bad. It's a bad. Somebody took a video of it.
He just got half an opportunity with the Rams.
All I'm saying is, you said Oklahoma.
Hours of experience with this team. You can't talk mess.
All I'm saying is, you said Oklahoma's on par with Alabama, and they don't have
getting people drafted. Yes.
And they don't have as many championships. They don't have as many people drafted. They don't have as many Pro Bowlers. And they have just as many busts. And they have just as many busts.
See, what I said that we're not storming the field is what I said. And that's true.
And then you said they're like the Alabama of whatever.
When you make the college football playoffs consistently
and lose,
you're in that conversation.
You forgot and
you're
lose.
You're in an elite enough conversation to not be storming the field against anybody.
But you keep losing to Kansas State every other year.
And what is this about Kansas State?
They can't beat Kansas State. I watched them. Chris Kleiman, he got a 6-year contract extension based off whooping Oklahoma's ass every year. They literally got clapped by Alabama because they won 10 games on a fluke year.
We're 3-2 against them in the last 5 years. That can't win
Kansas
against State.
And when they lost to Kansas State, how highly ranked was Oklahoma? Oklahoma was costed at least 2 playoff spots.
One of them is when they finished 6-6, the worst year I've had.
Fine, let's throw that one out. They've won 4 games against Oklahoma in the past 6 years.
No,
I want to say it's about 4 out of the last 6.
No,
a gap in between.
No,
2 of those wins came when Oklahoma were playoff caliber.
Was consistently a 1-loss team before last year. One of them was Ohio State. One of them was Kansas State. Another one was Texas.
Listen,
so there's no way.
I don't care about all that. You guys are talking about college. I'm talking about the pros. I'm talking about the fact that CeeDee Lamb is your best pro since fucking Trent Williams and Gerald McCoy.
Trent Williams
13 years ago.
And Gerald McCoy is retired.
I guess we'll just. I don't know, dude. I think I'm like. I mean, facts. I don't know. The statistics are there. Like, I don't know.
Like,
yeah, you're naming off all statistics.
But the deeper you go, the badder it looks.
No,
but you're initially right on the surface.
No, Kenny, you have a bias against Oklahoma. So
no, I don't. I agreed with you like this whole time.
All you do is talk mess about Oklahoma.
I talk shit about everybody.
You despise Oklahoma on a molecular level, like subliminally or otherwise.
Because it's fun to do. It's fun to do. I talk shit about Texas Tech. I talk shit about the whole Big 12. I talk shit about Baylor.
You're that haterade for Oklahoma for sure.
No, it's just my deep cuts for Oklahoma hurt the worst.
Listen,
I've talked shit about USC. Pete knows I've dog walked UCLA on this pod.
I have a malicious hatred.
If you want to go from 2000 to 2010, then yeah, I'll give you that, Oklahoma.
Malcolm Kelly was a bust.
But even then, they were only getting first-round picks. They weren't getting people drafted throughout the roster like they are now. So even that was like top-heavy.
You could say Mark Andrews is probably the best player out of Oklahoma in recent years.
And then
he wasn't even expected to be that great.
And then the 90s, The 90s is bad.
We're not gonna talk about the 90s.
The 90s is really bad.
I said I was gonna stop at AP. I was gonna start at AP. Anything before that isn't fair.
Yeah, but the 2000s, yeah, you guys are on par with
the 2000s were kind of mid, if we're being honest. Josh Heupel.
I mean, we were again competing for a national championship every other year.
USC came back to life and deaded all that shit.
So again, when I said that we were on par with Alabama, I meant that we weren't going to be storming the field when we win against Alabama, because again, when you're in the
guarantee that
playoff conversation, finishing second, third, fourth, and fifth with one loss, like when you are the leader of your Power 5 conference. And
there's owning a house in South Central, and then there's owning a house in Beverly Hills. You both own a house in LA. Like, Georgia, that's something. You definitely both own a house in LA. That's something. But, like, there's levels to it. And unfortunately, you're not in the same tax bracket.
Like Oklahoma's not on the same level as Bama.
This is recorded. We could go back. I said they're not storming the field.
Oklahoma. I said... Since AP, has Oklahoma ever stormed the field?
They definitely stormed the field in 2010.
They definitely stormed the field.
They definitely stormed the field in 2010.
They probably stormed the field on Oklahoma State, if we're being honest. If I go back far enough. Not against Des Bryant, though. They beat Des Bryant. Okay. Justin Blackman, though?
No. I'm going to stop you right there. Oklahoma is like, I want to say 85-19 against Oklahoma State in football. So, no, we aren't storming the field when we beat Oklahoma State.
I mean, when they had Justin Blackman and that old-ass Brandon Whedon.
I would bet every dollar I have.
Don't do that.
4 out of 5 of my fingers on my left hand. We have never, ever once in our program
stormed the field.
Stormed the field against Oklahoma State. I would bet my entire life and assets.
So, do I need to look up Barry Sanders' stats?
What was random good athlete that went to a school and
Hall of Fame. All I'm saying is that's not the bet you want to take, because I can tell you Oklahoma has stormed the field at least once in the past 20 years, once in the past 10 years. USC stormed the field at one point. That's a low point, by the way. USC has to storm the field.
There ain't no way USC still storming no field, because no fans come to their games.
That's fucked up. But I think they beat Stanford and stormed the field.
No, for real though.
Stanford was beating their shit in mercilessly.
I am saddened by the
Jesus Christ! How did that team with fucking 2 generational talents and 3 first-round picks go 8-5?
Adrian Peterson?
No, Trent Williams, Gerald McCoy, and Sam Bradford.
Well, let's be honest. Trent Williams wasn't seen as like the next greatest left tackle like that. Like, he wasn't Jonathan Ogden, but he ran a 4.85. So
y'all got smacked by it.
And he wasn't like the player he is now. Who did they
lose to?
That was DePaul. Wasn't that DePaul?
He got smacked by Nebraska 10-3. How the fuck did Sam Bradford go number 1, bro?
Because he's Native American. He
lost to Miami by 21-20.
Oh yeah, Oklahoma. We don't talk about what Miami.
They lost to Texas 13-16.
Ja'Cory Harris clapped Oklahoma.
They lost to BYU, bro.
Yeah, I bet you BYU.
Bradford was an All-American Heisman winner. Of course, he was going to get drafted first overall.
I mean, really, he just put up video game numbers in a garbage offense.
That's Jason White.
He's also a quarterback.
Jason White won.
He put up video game numbers in a video game offense.
Yeah, that's Jason White.
I mean,
he retired because he didn't get drafted, by the way. That's how sad Jason White was. He retired because he didn't get drafted.
And the fact that you're picking out
he didn't even get on Madden.
tells me, like, all I need to know. Like,
no, I'm just in a wormhole now at this point.
Yeah, that's what Pete is. But I'm telling you, they stormed the field. Don't make me go research it.
You lost to Texas Tech that year by 30.
Texas Tech clapped them a couple times.
By 30.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, you're talking about when I was like 4 at this point.
Oh, no, we're talking about Michael Crabtree years. You were not 4, young lady. We are not that old. How old are you?
I'm 24.
You are not. So
you were 10.
I'm 31.
You were past the formative years. You're old enough to remember those ass meetings.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're only 7 years younger than me.
Again, so
you're my sister's age.
So again,
holy shit,
to my point,
age.
The best draft class you've had in 15 years didn't even fucking matter.
Old now.
Even the best team, even in the best draft class you've had in
Oklahoma.
15 years, didn't
My
do
sister's
anything.
older than you. Fuck, that is crazy.
I was nowhere near a TV when I was 10. I'm gonna let you know that.
She's like, that doesn't count. I wasn't watching football then. Sick.
I was nowhere.
That's
That's
sick.
crazy.
I don't think I was.
Hey, but
allowed-
you got smacked the fuck out of Idaho State and Tulsa.
Ooh, all they did was clap Tulsa every year. Every year, Oklahoma claps Tulsa, even if they don't play them.
Okay, but that's different.
It's
though.
a 50 burger.
The Tulsa game is like
It's a warm up. That's like
it's like they respect each other, but like Tulsa knows they're going to lose every game, but they play each other, so Tulsa it's always at Tulsa.
fucking
almost
GJ
always.
Kinney at quarterback.
So Tulsa can get some money. That's all good vibes.
It's a pay for this ass whooping.
Yeah, like we're people will buy tickets to this game. Like
We're gonna
because
drop
they-
66 points on you, but at
Yeah.
least you'll get that new weight room.
Hey, but at least you guys beat
That's
Jim Harbaugh.
prostitution, if we're being honest. That's modern day prostitution. That's
Yeah.
that's kind of like a form of cuckism. It's sadomasochistic too, to just let it get a payday from a team that you know is gonna pound you.
SMU's a little bit better now out of that range.
Now,
we
but
still
back
have-
then they were in the death penalty days.
yeah, we
fucking
had the
skunking
same
'em.
relationship with SMU for a while. Like they would kind of just pay us to come whoop their ass in their home stadium. So
Even though
could
they
get
were
some-
whooping your ass when Eric Dickerson was there. Just point that out.
like,
Pony
again,
Express.
This is like a grain in the sand of their football, atrocities.
They were
Like,
killed at the height of their progression, actually.
But yeah, I've always had a soft spot for Tulsa for some
Yeah, because
team.
you beat the shit out of them for fucking fun.
I mean, I was also born in Tulsa, so
You just
I guess
you just show up.
I've run track.
It's
in
like
their
that porn star
efforts.
meme.
All right, so I'm sorry to take us down a fucking extra 20-minute wormhole. I just wanted to point out
What
how
was
bad
really
Oklahoma
solved here?
was.
Because I feel like she's gonna stand on her principles, and you still think Oklahoma's overrated. But that, we gotta like strike
Yeah,
that.
like, I think that-
Oklahoma
I
being
mean,
on Alabama's level comment from the records. 'Cause that shit's cap.
Again, I never said that they were as good of a program as Alabama.
We can replay this back.
That's what I'm saying. They're just statistically speaking, Alabama's like the best football program ever. So
Not
Nah,
necessarily.
definitely not.
They're only this era. If you take away Nick
Not even
Saban,
this
Alabama's mid as
Not
fuck.
even this era.
If you take
I
away
just
all
proved
of,
not this era.
like USC is like a blue blood. USC, Michigan, Notre
when was
Dame.
Oklahoma's
USC
last
is-
national championship?
What?
When was Oklahoma's last national
Josh
championship?
Heupel.
2000.
I was 8.
Wow.
Okay.
That was literally your whole lifetime ago.
Okay.
Were you even
and
alive when they won?
championship that wasn't vacated.
Wait, when's your birthday?
1999.
Okay, so you're born in 1999. I just moved out here from Oakland in August of 99.
See, it is hard to compare USC in recent years to Oklahoma, though. So they both
USC
have-
Yeah, this last decade.
USC won a Rose Bowl. What's the last
they have
meaningful
similar- I
Oklahoma
think the
bowl game win?
2000s The 2000s for USC and Oklahoma are similar.
USC
No,
is
you
better.
guys just like switch places.
Oklahoma is a little. Has
USC
always
had
been
a
little bit
USC's
more
never
important.
played a Division II school. Oklahoma has lots of them actually.
Again, I don't know what I guess you're trying to compare programs, but
USC doesn't play D2 schools. Oklahoma has played. USC's never played a D2 school. That's the one thing they won't do. HBCUs, they don't play anybody
I'm
who's
sure
like
that's-
not
that's
D1.
right, but what does that matter? I'm
Most
confused.
of a lot of Oklahoma's wins, like Tulsa and SMU, if they're not playing those schools, they're playing like fucking Monmouth or somebody.
What are you talking about, bro? Like, you mean every other Power 5 school ever? Have you
Except
ever looked at
USC.
the SEC?
USC does not play D2 schools.
Does Notre Dame?
Yes, all the fucking time.
Who do they play?
Notre Dame plays a bunch of fucking nobodies.
Like who?
Notre Dame used to beat people 100-0, bro. Notre Dame is scumbags.
But I'm talking about this decade. What D2 schools have they played?
I can't name it off the top of my head, but
I don't think they played that many D2 schools.
they've played a lot.
Are you talking about Oklahoma? But still?
No, we're
playing
talking
D2?
about Notre Dame.
Yeah, we're still talking about
Oh.
Notre Dame. But bottom line is like
All Power 5 schools be just playing the those shittier teams like Massachusetts State, shit like that. Yeah, that's the entire SEC does it. All of the Big 12 does it.
The Pac-12. I mean, USC doesn't do it though.
Okay, but their strength of schedule is as good in general. So I mean, I don't.
But I mean, it says a lot to not just pay a D2 school to drop 85 points on them.
I mean,
honestly, if you probably would have put USC in the fucking Big 12 in the 2010s,
they're going undefeated.
They probably have a similar record as OU.
No, they're going undefeated. Talent for talent, even those Rose Bowl teams.
Bro, the Pac-12 and the
USC ran through the Pac-12 for like 10 years.
I'm talking about I'm talking post Pete Carroll. Even if you put those sorry ass teams,
the Matt Sanchez teams, yes, even those Matt Sanchez teams were loaded. Whatever.
The Pac-12 and the Big 12 aren't really.
The Pac-12 plays defense. The Pac-12 actually played defense. They played defense,
and they have athletes.
They have D linemen.
We have athletes.
Pac-12 had Haloti Ngata. Haloti Ngata is already the best fucking person to ever come out of the Big 12 since Gerald McCoy. Might be a better player. Actually, is a better player than Gerald McCoy. If we're being honest, because he's about to go in the.
He's kind of falling off too, though.
I mean, Haloti Ngata.
He's kind of falling off.
Haloti Ngata was forced to play nose tackle, but could play defensive end and was catching interceptions like a fucking like Odell.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. We're already over time.
Let's turn this into a college football podcast real quick. I can't wait till the season starts. We're taking bets. We're taking bets this year. Unofficially. Of course, no money bets because, I'm not to.
Well, this is Touchdowns and Tangents, your Thursday night spot for NFL takes, tangents, and Oklahoma slander.
Oklahoma, yeah.
You can catch us on Twitter, Instagram, TDs_tangents. You can find this podcast where all podcasts are, as well as touchdownsandtangents.com. Have a great week. Stay safe. Don't get in any fucking submarines.
Yes. And also, we're going to need you to get an Oklahoma football player on this podcast.
I mean, technically, we already did.